Did you think it was...
Do-do-do's already in my head. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Hey, what happened there? The sub didn't kick in. Wait. Why did that not show? Please don't have fuck-ups already. You can hear me? Right, we've got some music in the background from Elder Scrolls Online, obviously. If it's too loud, just let me know. Why can I not hear those sounds? Bear with me. That should be working. Why are you making no noises? Is it no, don't do it? Can you hear the sounds? Because at the moment, I can't hear those. You did? So you heard the host? Something's not right. Let me fix this. Lucas, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Let me see. Real Ninja, you hearing me? Yeah, I know you can hear me. Can you hear those alerts? Let me do that again. Ready? Bonnie's host. Let's try again. We did it twice. Can't hear it, can you? You can hear me but not see me. How is that even possible? Never heard the chime. Did you hear that? You heard the sub, right? We're in business. Good. Right. Let's try that again. If you can't see me, refresh your stream. You might have your settings too high. Some devices do try and go for the highest possible setting, and that might not be enough for your system to manage or handle. But DJ, Sleek, Empty Sky, Reese, Spike, Bonnie, Matt, Dragon, Lozzie, Scuba Steve, JR Primus, Sleek, I'm sure I said hi to you already. I did, good. Nearly said it twice. You nearly got 2 hellos. Where are we? Dad, Smooch, Kest, Insane, Sol, Oddball, Tex, Hog the Wild, Daniel Doom, How the hell do I say your name? We're going to go with Corn because I can't see the whole thing. Oh, you're a unicorn. I got it. I'm a unicorn. Welcome to the stream. Riv, Ready Player One, Buddha, Just, Slow, Lobotomy, Sattler, HG Wells, Techno, Captain Jingle, the resub. Thank you very much. Donor, Don't Be Dead Claw. Go down, go down, go down, go down. Lucas, I said hi already, but hi. Snacks, Insane Ninjas, Soul. Fucking hell, there's loads of you. Have you all been waiting this long? I was busy, had to do stuff and things. End, Lady Vixen, Demo. Trying to find names I haven't said hi to already. Evan Dinosaur, Kooky, Murph, Squirtilia, Furious, Charlie B. Matt, I already said hi to you, don't get two. Shram, Eggs on Legs, Wayno Smash, Wrecked, Archer, Emily, Brandon, Teos, is that how I say it? Teos? Not sure. Cal, Drac, welcome to the stream. We're done with the hellos. How you doing? We don't want to press that button, we want to press the ninja button. After this. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for the sub. Let's press it finally. Right. So, first of all, is the music too loud? You might not even be able to hear it properly. If that's the case, then great. It's probably just a little bit of ambience. If it's too loud, then of course I'll change it. But there is some Elder Scrolls music in the background just to break up the silence a little bit. But also, we need to make this sound. Listen. What is that? Can you guess what it is? Hype train is started, by the way. It's not too loud. Good. So we're going to read through the patch notes. Obviously, I have lots of stuff to do. A fuck ton. But we're going to read through the patch notes. This also does mean that everything I couldn't say before about the combat stuff that I did see that may or may not be here, I can now talk about. So, depending on how the patch notes come out, obviously, on the preview, Leecham was buffed to fuck. That's all I'm saying. But that might have changed since then. You want it louder? You want the beer louder? It's beer o'clock? Fuck yes it is. This is an early stream for me. And also, another sub. Thank you very much. Bit and Cake in the chat. It's not Buddington's. It's fucking Speckled Hen. Thank you for the sub. Massively appreciate, of course, Bit and Cake in the chat. Slight spoiler. I know people were really worried about the build videos. I did say last stream, I will be, of course, still updating all the ones that I didn't make because the PTS has obviously changed now. I will be updating every single one of them that hasn't been done on the website with their champion points, gear, traits, rotation, all that kind of stuff. It was all still done, just not recorded. But before the server changed, I did manage to record Yogi, so that one is coming. Don't worry. Good afternoon, Zion Ninjas. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Got your daggers for Stand DK. Nice. Wonder if this will influence Nature's Bounty. You're going to have to stay with me on this rather than me going too deep into other builds and all the rest of it. We've got about 4 or 5 weeks worth of testing, so there's not going to be any straight answers yet. We're just going to read through it. But if anyone does try to get ahead of me, i.e. go and read the patch notes, come back into the stream and try and put stuff in the chat that I haven't caught up to yet for the sake of just showing off, you will get nuked. You'll end up with a timeout, so don't do that. I'm reading it live, so if you already know stuff, shh, let me get there first. Yes, of course, I've already seen it, but not all of it. Now, long time since I played ESO, I'm excited to see what they've done. So we know we're getting new trial, which is amazing. We know we're getting companions. We know we're getting new antiquity collectibles and all that good stuff. But I know you want to see the shiny stuff, obviously. Empty Sky, thank you very much for the sub. Holy shit! Oh my god! 10 gifted... I haven't even started reading yet! Holy shit, dudes. Thank you very much indeed for the subs. Hugely appreciated. Bit and Cake in the chat. We have a new Dragonborn and Hype Train level 2 is already in. I haven't even started reading. I've just opened a beer. Fucking brilliant. Thank you very much. Dragonborn. Tex, you're a legend. Thank you very, very much indeed. Bit and Cake in the chat, people. You are smashing the Hype Train already. Bits from Merv. Tex with the gifted subs. 10 of them, in fact, now to 30. And also, KJ, thank you very much. Also, another 10 gifted subs. You guys are legends. Brain food indeed. Slow, thank you for the bits. So, this is all sectioned off, obviously, but we don't need to see the contents. We can just go into here. Now, 6 new delves, all with their own Sky Shard, of course. 6 new world bosses, which is great. I've actually seen a few of those. 2 public dungeons, and also we've got the Oblivion portals, which are really important. Bob Weaven, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. And over 30 hours of quests. So the size of it, when we actually previewed it, they did say in the meeting that it was kind of on par with that of Elsewhere, I believe. But obviously it's a different layout. So Elsewhere was very much canyons and shit, where this is more open. Whoa! I have not looked at those for a little while. Fucking hell, man. Thank you very much for grabbing the rocks. Beer and cake in the chat. I need to open that up now because I can't even see how many you got. I think you got 10, didn't you? 10 Rocks Box collectibles. Let me open the page. 1 second. Tech online. This is what we've got to do. We've got to go through logging in and all that good stuff. I should have had this up anyway. Pop out. What did you get? You got... Oh! Oh, shit. So, KJ, thank you very much for 10 more gifted subs. That is fucking insane. You're a legend. Almost hit Hype Train level 4, so keep going. But, Volrav just now got 10 Rocks Box collectibles, okay? He got 5 bronzes, 3 silvers, 1 gold, and his 2nd platinum. Ooh, beer and cake in the chat. We'll play it again, just in case you missed it. There you go. Look at that. Shiny plat. Oh. Dodged again, indeed. Thank you very much. Right. So, Oblivion Portals also, if you haven't seen them already, if you didn't know enough about them, they're smaller than what you would normally see in Oblivion, because they're kind of Miriam's Dagon's practice attempts. So, they're quite small, but they are random all over the map. So, you have to find them. And then it's a case of, do you tell people they're there, or do you be selfish and go do it yourself? Whatever. Oblivion portals appear randomly throughout Blackwood. Entering the portal takes you to the Deadlands, Miriam's Dagon's, Dagon even, Daedric home. So it's an instance. It's not taking up any real estate on the map. Fucking hell, Camel! Come on! Beer and cake in the chat. Thank you very, very much indeed. You killed a Dragonborn. Oh my god. Oh man. You know the rules, people. The fight starts again from scratch. If you kill the Dragonborn, you'll take their place to stream. I have to kill you instead. Hype Train level 4 has started. Out of Portal solo ball. That's going to be... Well, here's the thing. Did I solo them? Yes. Is it important? No. Because when I tested it, it was an older build. This is the PTS, so it's obviously much, much newer. And there are still going to be balance changes throughout the testing side of that stuff. So eventually, maybe people will be able to, but they're not intended for solo play. They're intended for loads of people to go in and smash the fuck out of it. Difficulty-wise, they're not set in stone at the moment, Smooch, so you're not going to get a straight answer for that one. Again, this is all testing. This is 4 or 5 weeks worth of testing something before it goes live with tweaks along the way. So when it comes to difficulty of the trial, difficulty of the overland, difficulty of the Daedric portals, all that kind of stuff is bullshit right now. Go test it. Give feedback, then they can balance it throughout. If someone goes up there today and goes, oh, world's first hard mode, no death fucking speedrun trial thing, it's going to be worthless because it's not balanced properly just yet. Maybe they're close, but not quite. KJ with another 10 gifted subs. Thank you very, very much. I haven't even started. Oh my word. Dooms as well. You guys are fucking nuts. Thank you very, very much. Oh man. I'm going to press it and then I'm going to go read stuff. I'm going to press this at the same time. There you go. You know the rules, people. The fight starts again from scratch. If you kill that Dragonborn, you'll take the place in stream. I have to kill you instead. Oh my god, I can't keep up. Oh man, I was so close to finishing my sentence. Tex, you're a legend, dude. Thank you very, very much. Massively appreciated. Beer and cake in the chat. I nearly said Aussie. I nearly said your name backwards, even though it's spelled backwards, but I know you was Jack anyway. Jack, how you doing? Welcome. You're gonna hit Hype Train level 5? It's close, man. It's close. So, you know the rules, people. Dragonborn's almost fucked anyway. If you hit Hype Train level 4 and complete it, which we're in now, if you complete it, you'll get Hype Train level 4 emotes. If you don't complete it, you'll get level 3, but it's almost there. Now, the companions you cannot use in any content apart from... Sorry, wrong way around. You can use it in any content apart from solo stuff and apart from PvP. Spike! Oh, man. Hype Train level 5 has started. Thank you very, very much. Here you go, indeed. Again? Oh, man. KJ as well. Thank you very, very much. Lady Pandemonium also. Oh my god. Spike, KJ, Lady Pandemonium, you are all legends. Thank you very much indeed. There is a new Dragonborn on the throne. I couldn't see the name probably from here. Oh yes. Please do not skip ahead in the stream to sections of the patch notes that Zai has not gotten to. Doing so will get you timed out. Correct. Spike again. Hype train level 5.5. Thank you very much, dude. I'm not going to actually get through the chat at this point. I'm just going to keep pressing the fucking Dragonborn button. Oh, man. Buddha, you're a legend. Thank you very much. Wayno Smash as well. Thank you very much. Holy shit. Wow. 1,000 bits as well from Lady Vixen. You have the Ninja Star unlocked. 1,000 bits will unlock your first Ninja Star. There are other ones to acquire later on, but that's how you get it. It's a badge and an emote. That's the only way to get them. Volrap, thank you very much indeed for the bits as well. Much appreciated. Now, companions again. You can use them anywhere that you can play with other people except for PvP and solo stuff. So, solo you can't play with other people anyway. So, Maelstrom, Vatran, delete it from your mind. You can't do that. PvP, Jules, Cyrodiil, can't do that either. So don't try. It doesn't work. But general everyday play, dungeons and trials, you can do them. Holy shit. Ready Player One, thank you very much. I'm patiently waiting for the reading. Too much hype, so challenge is where you're going to get to read the notes. I have no idea, mate. Whoa, hello. Cheers from Sweden. Thank you very much for that generous donation. You are a legend. Thank you very much indeed. How do I say your name? Elgarlando? Is that how I say it? Thank you very much. What a legend. Now, the Dragonborn's been killed a few times. We do have a new one. Hype Train has got 2 minutes left. 65% in. You know what to do. So, Bastion. You remember the stream I said the other day? One of them got a little bit shirty every time I killed critters. They got really pissed off and upset and hugged a tree. Yeah, Bastion is very sensitive and he doesn't like you killing things. So, if you like to run around and one-shot spiders that have no health, he's going to get pissed. Miri, she's a little bit more aggressive. She doesn't mind that kind of stuff. Whoa! Again. Wow. 10 gifted subs. Doom FPS, you're a legend. 345 gifted subs to the channel in total. My God. Thank you very, very much, dude. Beer and cake in the chat. This place is crazy. Fuck yeah, it is. What the fuck is happening? I'm trying to read patch notes. People keep gifting subs. They're going for the hype train. It's almost there. We've got to love the names. Doom, thanks for gifted subs. Oh, yes. Thank you very much indeed. Oh, my word. Who was that? H.G. Wells, 500 bits. Thank you very much. I can't even get...
I love weddings. Drinks
I can't get to the stuff and things. My screen has got all poo-poo. You want Bastion to be my main companion based solely on his name? Why? Because it's the name of the kid in Neverending Story. Right, you do have to open them up with a quest, by the way. If you didn't watch the live stream the other day for Zos, what happened is you can use them throughout your whole account, but each individual character you have will need to do their starting quest to kind of have that interaction or introduction to them. And 10% hype train left. I know, I work here. Holy shit! Done. Fucking wars! Hype train level 5 has been achieved. Oh my God. We're never going to get through this. Oh my God. Dread, thank you very much. Empty Sky, thank you very much. You know, I've never seen the movies, so no. You don't want to watch it, it's shit. We are 112% into Hype Train level 5 with 15 seconds remaining. You've actually done Hype Train level 5 and some. My word, thank you very much. 118% now. I'm going to give Bastion a white horse and get him stuck in the mud. Ah, you've seen it. You've seen it. So does that mean that each team has a level of companion? No. No, their level is across the account. But their interaction with you needs to be started. You need to introduce yourself to them per character once just to make that done. And then you can use them. Hype Train level 5, share the emotes. Go nuts. How many companions are there? Currently 2. I said currently. It doesn't mean that there won't ever be any more, and it doesn't mean that there will. But there are currently 2 to start with. Now, Restrictions and limitations. In population limited instances such as dungeons, group arenas, and trials, each companion present counts toward the population cap as if it were a player. So if you're in a dungeon and you have 3 people, you can use 1 companion. You can't use 1 from each player. It counts as 1 player slot. Now, they're not going to be as powerful as a player. They're not going to be as intelligent as a player, but they are going to take up that spot. So if you want to do a trial with 6 people and 6 companions, you can. Players will always take priority over companions, and they will be automatically dismissed as a player zones in. So if you are in a dungeon finder and someone then tries to join, they can come in even though you've got 3 people and a companion, and the companion will just be put away. Thank you very much for the bits. Massively appreciated. Bit and cake in the chat. Companions cannot be summoned in PvP areas or solo areas or in housing instances. That's very important, by the way. Also, they cannot be summoned while you're in combat, so you can't just warhorn them in. Although you technically do when they're not in combat, but not in combat. Or if the summoning character has not yet completed the associated introductory quest. That's what I'm talking about there. It's across your account, but you have to do the introduction quest to be able to use it per character. Waves to all the ninjas. Nice! Brandon, thank you very much for the resub. Much appreciated. If they can interrupt, they'd be much smarter than the majority of players. They can. And even if the collectible has been unlocked by another character, you still have to do the introduction quest. That's it. If the relationship between the character and companion deteriorates into a very low rapport state, the companion may voluntarily unsummon themselves and be unavailable. So they sulk in the fucking corner. You can't have them in your house. You can't summon them in your house. You have to listen to the words very carefully. See? You cannot summon them in housing instances. Words are important. Companion visibility may also be brief, suppressed if some situations where they are unable to navigate to your character, such as while swimming. So if they get stuck behind stuff, they will disappear and then come back when you get to a certain spot. To engage with your companion, simply initiate a dialogue with them. So you just walk up and say hi. And they have their own individual menus. So if you go to companion menu, without me even reading this, to be honest, because I've been doing it for like the last week, you go in there and it opens up their gear and all that kind of stuff. Dread, thank you very much. You are a legend. Beer and cake in the chat, people. I'm going to sneeze. I'm going to try really hard not to, though. We don't want to do that on stream. Because in a year's time, it'll be... Do you remember that patch stream that Xy did when he sneezed on live stream when we recorded it? No, not happening. Gesundheit, thank you very much. Beers and running, you're the Dragonborn. Get in. Dragonborn. We are not going to get through this. Thank you very much indeed. Rav, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. You know the rules, people. Fight. Kill the Dragonborn. Now, Skills tab for the companion menu provides a list of available skill lines and associated abilities which may be slotted in the companion's active bar. So they have 5 skills and an ultimate. The skills are kind of weapon skills, armor skills, and kind of roll stroke class skills. Now Bastion tends to be more DK based and Miri tends to be more Nightblade based. But you can juggle around with those skills as much as you want. But which order you put them in is the order of importance to the actual companion themselves. So if you want them to taunt all the time, you want to put that in the first ability because they're going to use that more often than the rest, or they're going to use that first. However, they do have cooldowns, so you can alter that with stuff later, but they do have cooldowns, so they're not going to spam it all day long. Once it's used, they won't use it again until it's ready. And they also have companions have a large pool of abilities available to them, which are... My words are terrible today. I'm so bloody tired and overrun. Which are thematically similar to abilities you may recognize from other various skill lines. That's kind of where I'm going with that one. These abilities provide the opportunity to customize your companion's combat role, including tank and healing, damage, and hybridization, desired to perfectly complement the player's ability configuration. Now, when I did test this in the earlier build for this particular update, what I found, personally, was while I was trying to solo world bosses and all the rest of it, they did tank, okay? They did run up and taunt. They did interrupt occasionally. They did put their own buffs on. But they're not going to tank as well as a player. So they are going to get dead. They are going to be a bit of a carpet sometimes, depending on how hard the boss hits. That's your job then to heal them. But what I did find is if I set it for damage, it was actually quite helpful. It did do some damage. They weren't massive, but it was complementing the setup, if you like. But if you set them for a combination of things, so a bit of damage and a bit of heals, that helped a lot. So if you are a solo player and you're trying to kill world bosses, but you always have that small percentage of health that you can't quite get down because you keep dying, that can fill the gap. So a couple of skills in particular, I'm sure they've been changed since then. I'm sure they'll get changed along the way. But their Circle of Protection was fucking mental. They had their own personal version of it, which was really nice. And also, you can take synergies from them. So if you put down Blood Altar from a companion, you've got that synergy while solo, which you've never had before because you can't take your own synergy of your own version, which is pretty cool. Anyway, lots and lots of cool stuff to do there. Cosmetics. Companions can be customized using many of your own cosmetic collectibles. So they can use costumes, mounts, and outfits. Now, you can't change their helmet because then you can still see their face and they still have a character, if you like. But you can customize them as much as you want outside of that, which is pretty damn cool. Also, their gear is very specific to companions only. You can't put your own gear on a companion. They have drops that happen throughout the game that are specific to their own individual kind of slot and role types. Now, companions are level 1 when unlocked, with a limited set of ability bar slots and a maximum potential of level 20. Companions level up via experience gained by your character directly from combat. So if you do kill stuff, they do get XP. Bailey, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. And they don't take any XP from you. They will have their own share of what they have for themselves, but it doesn't take anything away from your XP, so you'll get the full amount. Look at the beer and cake. Glitter and Ghost, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. I can't do words. Words are hard. I'm fucking knackered, running on empty today. Beer and cake in the chat. Make sure you go and give her a follow as well, and definitely give her a shout out in the chat. Can we get a shout out for Glitter and Ghost, please? Another ESO stream team member. Thank you very much. Are you hyped as fuck? Because I am. Companion abilities do not require skill points to unlock and do not rank up or morph over time. Class skill lines increase with combat level of the companion. Weapon skill lines increase through combat experience gained with the equipped weapons. Armor skill lines increase through combat experience based on the equipped weight of the armor. So if you're not wearing heavy, you won't level up the skill line. You know, don't blame them. They want to wear something else. Sweaty gear, either. I know, right? Guild skill lines increase through completing specific solo daily quests associated with a guild. So this here was a 30 different individual quests to finish off your achievement, but you could still do them when you wanted. And it was always a small amount of XP. So most people did it for the dailies, for the first 30, and then dumped it, never did it again. Now you can actually benefit from that and actually increase their skill lines from those where you're already done. How you done it? How are you? Any good stuff in the notes? I'm literally reading them right now. Hi everyone, excited to read notes with everyone. Yes. Just remember that it has been noted already. If anyone tries to get ahead of the stream and to show the fuck off because, oh, I read it already and you're trying to get ahead of me, you'll get timed out. Don't do that. We're reading it live. But if you already know stuff, shh, no spoilers. Yes, of course I know stuff as well, but how quick do you think I can get through 44 pages to explain to everyone? I've already seen some of it. It's not that easy. Thank you for the shout out. You want PTS now? I know. So, racial skill lines do not include active abilities and are immediately applied based on the race and companion. So they do have their own racial passives, and it's already built in straight away. You don't have to do anything with that. Each companion unlocks with some progress in skill lines based on their background, as well as with multiple combat abilities pre-slotted, so they are immediately combat ready. These may be changed if desired, so you can customize that as much as you want. Again, you have 5 major skills and an ultimate. There's a lot of skills, though. Report adjustments are displayed in real time in the loot stream, so where your numbers normally pop up saying how much loot you've got, what you picked up, and your XP and all that kind of stuff, look for that section of your screen, and you'll see the report pop up there. It'll either be red or green for plus or minus. You'll have to go back to the beginning afterwards. I've only just really glazed over the introduction. We haven't gone over any stats or anything yet. The only thing I can say, because we're allowed to say it now, is in the early build, Legion was buffed to fuck, but that might be different here. That's from testing, by the way, not just written on paper. The current report status can always be viewed on the overview window of your companion UI. So when you talk to your companion, you can see it there. You've got a list of stuff to do. Equipping and sourcing. Companion, we did go over this a bit anyway. Companion equipment is distinct from player gear with no overlap between them. So you can't go and fit your companion out with Urban and Alkosh and have a tank for your debuffing and all the rest of it for all your content. They can do tanky stuff, but you can't put actual gear on them that you wear. They have their own unique stuff. I wish I could hear so I know what's going on. I have no idea what to say to that since you can't hear me. You should probably refresh your stream or turn the volume up. Or someone should type it in the chat so you can hear it. A work lurk! Gotcha. Fair enough. While the companion equipment can be purchased from a weaponsmith, woodworker, armorer, leather worker, and tailor merchants throughout the world, allowing you to customize your companion role accordingly. There is a difference to that, by the way. You can get the green stuff, the blue stuff, or the purple stuff. You can actually loot it from bosses, world stuff, all manner of different interaction with enemies. You can actually get cool stuff for them. Now, they tend to be quite flat. There aren't like sets as such, unless they've changed it. But these here are what you will gain. So quickening will have cooldown reduction. Prolific has ulti generation. Focused is critical strike chance. Shattering is penetration. That's funny. Oh, I'm such a child. Aggressive, damage done. Soothing, healing done. Augmented, ability buff and debuff durations. Bolstered, reduces damage taken. And vigorous is max health. So the way to basically explain that is one shoulder piece, for example, maybe heavy with quickening. So you've got a cooldown reduction on that piece. Then you've got something else on another piece and so on and so forth. So you can stack them all up for one stat or multiple stats, multiple different weights. And it's about which one of these traits is going to benefit your particular companion the most for you versus the situation you're in. Excuse me. Quests and rewards. In addition to Blackwood quest objective, which introduces and unlocks the respective companions, each companion has 2 associated personal side quests, which will become available to you once a sufficient rapport has been established. So make them like you, and you will unlock quests for other stuff. Completing the second companion quest will unlock a house guest collectible of the companion. Remember earlier when people said can't put it in the house? Boo. No. They said you can't summon it in your house. You can put them in your house. You have to read the words very carefully, because I know lots of people see stuff and like, oh, that's not fair. Read what they mean, not what you think they mean. So that's quite cool. Allow them to be placed, utilized similarly to the other house guest collectibles. Completing any companion side quest will result in a large rapport boost as well. So that will help push towards the next one. Can you alternate between the 2? Yes, you can. You can change them at any time, as long as you're not already in combat. Perks and keepsakes. Each companion has their own unique associated non-combat perk which benefits you while active. Miri's expertise is treasure chests found through treasure maps, and in the overland have 30% chance to provide additional loot from hidden compartments. Sneaky, sneaky. Read, you expect us to read? No, I expect you to listen and be hyped as fuck. These treasure chests... The treasure chest... Oh, let me read again. The treasure from these hidden compartments may contain additional gold, sellables, or recipes. So for you furniture farmers there, that might be helpful. Bastion Insight is potions looted from chests, and monsters have a 30% chance to be improved by Bastion's Insight. So you do get more pots from enemies. Are you able to reconstruct companion gear? No. That is very unique. Their items are dropped and placed on the character or not. You don't alter them at all. It's not like your own player stuff, because they want it to be very unique in its own right. Obviously, they have their own gear and all that kind of stuff, but they don't want to make it so that you have to invest loads and loads of time into learning certain craft and stuff, using other resources to change all that stuff. They want you to just pick it up, put it on, and go. Otherwise, it's too complex, and then there becomes sort of one way or no way type stuff. They want it to just be very straightforward, no time wasted. Responsiveness and miscellaneous items. So companions can respond to a wide array of situations that occur while adventuring with you both in and out of combat. While they will always respond to some critical triggers, you can adjust the frequency your companion will vocally respond by opening the settings menu, selecting gameplay, and adjusting the companion reactions. Set into infrequent, normal, and frequent. So they will respond to you if you do something good or bad or whatever. They have some funny dialogues and stuff that pop up occasionally. Beyond ability and equipment section, companions can also be directed in battle in a couple of different ways, much like your pet can. Companions will always attempt to engage in combat to support you. So they won't go out and aggro stuff for no reason. You must be in combat. They will then turn up and kind of white knight you and try and help. Now, utilizing pet commands allows you to direct the companion to engage with specific targets or to pull them back, respectively. So, by holding Y, which would be, and then the left or right, clicking on your mouse and keyboard, or by pressing L3 and R3 along with the left or right bumper on the gamepad mode. That is how you control them. So, you might want to copy and paste that or write it down or just try and remember it. That is how you do it. So Y and left click or right click, and then both. If you're on console, see these things here, these analogs, push both of those in, and then press one of these. Where have we gone? Companions will also attempt to block incoming heavy attacks, interrupt some abilities, and break free from crowd control. However, their timing is not always perfect, and they do have a cooldown between these actions. I have noticed on the previous build, the one we previewed, Bastion was actually pretty good at blocking lots and lots of different attacks when I was using him as a tank, but he did sometimes miss out on them, and it did end up making him a bit of a carpet. So putting him up against really, really big bosses, you're obviously going to end up killing the bastard. But if you put it up against just standard stuff, it's pretty good. Rockgrove Trial. This was fun as fuck. I'm going to try not to give too many spoilers on that kind of stuff. We'll be better off seeing it, but it's really fucking cool. You all spent most of the time dead? Yeah, mine too. Do you know what he did? Use up my fucking soul gems. This sounded like a refined version of the Star Wars, the Old Republic companion system. I like it. Well, other games have had companions, yes, but the Elder Scrolls Online have always had a companion in some way or another in the single-player RPG versions. This now brings that element into the online version of the game, which is fucking cool. And of course, with 21 years worth of MMOs, a bit more than that actually, there has been a lot of pluses and minuses within the genre to be able to kind of hand pick which parts of those they want to introduce to this game. So it's pretty good that people have seen companions before, but they are going to go about it their own way, which is quite nice. Sorry if I missed, does companion rapport fade over time when stored? Didn't note that at all. It's actually about your direct actions. They don't just get sad because you don't speak to them for a while. Unique achievement rewards are available for completing the trial. Unique body marking. Unique mount. That's a fucking big aggressive Welwa. Several titles and unique housing items. Rav! Thank you very much. You're a legend. Thank you very much indeed. 631 gifted subs to the channel. We are now up to 1454. Fuck me, that went quick. Thank you very much. So Rockgrove is a new player trial, 12-player trial. You can take companions in there. We did. I actually went in there with the Italian and mostly European actually press team, and we were using 9 players and 3 companions. My companion was dead a lot, but I did make him a tank, and I did make him charge after the boss, and rip. But they're quite helpful if you turn them into healers and shit like that, or just add a little bit of extra damage. Again, that was an early build. They may have been optimized since then, and quite frankly, they have. But we'll go into that when we get to the PTS. The trial includes normal and challenging veteran versions, of course, normal and vet, and there are 3 major bosses with an individual hard mode for each one, much like VSS. Now, there are unique set items within the trial as well, which we're going to go over. Yes, of course, I saw some of those, but it was an early build. We were not allowed to talk about the sets. So if you heard stuff already, rip, some people, never mind. But now we can. So, they would have been altered as well along the way. Maybe. This actually did get a little bit old. So, you've got some overland stuff and some trial stuff, and there's going to be crafted stuff. So, the overland stuff here, the light stuff, here we go. Spell damage, spell crit, spell damage. Listen to the wardens. How is the PTS notes? I'm reading them. We'll see. So far, this is the first set. Get excited. Now, this increases your damage done with frost abilities by 6%. And increases your damage done against chilled enemies by 4%. Now, if you're a warden, you already do more frost damage. Nice. If you're not, then whatever, it's a bonus. If you're a warden and the enemy is chilled, you do more crit damage. And if you are using a frost staff while you chill the enemy, you get minor brittle as well, which is more crit damage. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that this is going to be quite sought after for wardens. But this also increases your damage done against enemies that are afflicted with minor brittle. Every single passive that warden fucking has, this set is built around. Extra damage to frost, there's a passive for that. Extra damage to chilled, there's a passive for that. Extra damage to minor brittle, bring nature's bounty. It has 100% uptime on that debuff if you want to use this set. Just saying. Double Ice Warden, yeah, put nature in the chat. It's already been done. Recently leveled a Mag Warden. Loving it. Nice. This makes you so happy. Anyway, we've got weeks worth of testing. This is just on the surface so far. All this stuff could change. Medium. Weapon damage, stamina, weapon damage. Fuck tons of it. Dealing damage to an enemy within 10 meters of you with a heavy attack causes you to throw a cone of knives, dealing physical damage to enemies hit. If an enemy hit has 50% health or less, they also take additional bleed damage over 13 seconds. And this scales off of your highest offensive stat as far as your weapon or spell damage is concerned. So while this is weapon damage, stamina, blah, 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 if you have high spell damage, it scales off of that. If you have high weapon damage, it scales off of that. Now, there is a spoiler here. Physical and bleed damage values are not included in this patch. Note as they scale with your weapon damage or spell damage. Interesting. Now, heavy set, Bog Raider, interesting name. Magicka, health, stamina, flat across the board, very nice. When an enemy, thank you for the follow. When an enemy you have recently damaged dies, you gain 10 ultimate and increase your health recovery by 1156 for 10 seconds. This can happen every 10 seconds. So basically you've got 1 ultimate a second regen as long as stuff dies, and you've got constant stupidly high health recovery. Handy shit. Now, the crafted sets, Hist Whisperer, health recovery, stamina recovery, mag recovery. Dealing damage with a light and medium. Thank you very much, Punish and Protect. Words. Thank you very much, Punish and Protect. So, dealing damage with a light or medium attack heals you for 318 health and restores 318 stamina and magicka. Dealing damage with a fully charged heavy attack heals you for 636 and restores 636 stamina and magicka. This is a resource gaining set, but for utilizing lights, mediums, or heavies, you will always get something back. And as you can see here, there is no cooldown. Not bad. Set seems nuts for constant heals. Well, it's nuts full stop for constant resources, not just heals. It's hilarious when that happens. It does healing. Oh, it looks really good for heals. Yes. Yes, it does. Just spam light attacks, pretty much. Just use fucking overload all day long. Punish and Protect, you're a legend. Thank you very much indeed for the bits. We also have a new Dragonborn. You know the rules, people. The fight starts again from scratch. If you kill the Dragonborn, you'll take the place stream have to kill you instead. Was a medium attack, like half a heavy, like not finishing a full heavy attack. Now, the next one, weapon damage and spell damage, magicka and stamina. So very hybridish, like most crafted sets kind of tend to be. Increase the effectiveness of your weapon traits by 100%. This does not affect ornate or intricate traits. That is your Turg's Pact buffer. But it'll stack. Infused OP as fuck now. Dementor, you've got to get off that train, dude. It's OP as fuck anyway, depending on how you use it. It's just that now this is added. Dear oh dear. Your brain's melting, isn't it? That seems a bit much. Yes, but look at what you're going to have to lose to do so. This is very flat. Turg's Pact is very flat with 2 armors and a health. This will buff the shit out of stuff. And yes, as you've noted, obviously, if you do have a crusher, that's going to increase the strength of it. Which means you don't necessarily have to have that set or nothing. Choices. Now, shields are not affected by Heartland Conqueror as they use armor traits. So that doesn't count. You can't do it for shields. You can do it for weapons, very specifically. Set could be useful for helping me reach pain cap as a stam user. Well, you should be able to do that anyway. But, I mean, if you want to enhance that, of course, go for it. You can hit pain cap very, very easily in this game already. But there is a very set-in-stone way to do that. Now you've got more options. That's all it is. It's not now you can do it. It's now you've got more options. And it's not just about pen cap. Every single time someone sees something infused, they think it's just about pen cap. That might be for a flame glyph or a poison glyph or some shit like that. If you fire a poison glyph with Turg's Pact and that, the rate of fucking fire or strength of it or a combination of the two, first of all, is going to hit like a fucking steam train on acid. Secondly, is going to have such a high uptime on status effects. If you're a DK, you're going to have resources all day long. Anyway, that's glazed over just looking at that shit. I don't do the whole theory crap too much. I try to do more practice than that because then we can actually get results. Now, Diamond Victory adds weapon and spell damage, adds crit chance, so it's all crit. Adds weapon and spell damage again. Dealing direct... Oh, I tried this set actually. This is fun. Dealing direct damage grants you a range supremacy for 5 seconds. adding 437 weapon and spell damage to your damage over time and ranged attacks. So if you do a melee hit with like a light attack, then all your range and damage over time is enhanced. But if you deal a direct ranged damage attack, so a light attack from a bow or a staff or something like that, then you grant melee supremacy, adding 437 weapon and spell damage to your melee attacks. So the direct from a melee increases your damage over time and range. Direct from a range increases your melee attacks. Both scaled off of weapon and spell damage, depending on which one, of course, you are really, really stacking into. But it gives you a bonus nonetheless. Now, yes, I did test out on the preview. Xynode says PTS up new soon. Yes, I know. I have windows and stuff. I can see them. Now, yes, I did try this out on the preview. Yes, we are obviously probably going to see more stuff. As you can see here, this set is currently going through some design tweaks and will be implemented in the future PTS patch. Obviously, before anyone tries to be a rocket scientist, yes, I tried the fuck out of that on toxicity. And yes, both versions of this buff do stack with each other. And you can have the bonus across the board for pretty much all of your skills. All it took was one poison injection to proc one side of it, and a light attack from a dual wield to proc the other. So it was damage over time buffed, melee buffed, range buffed, everything buffed. It was fucking great. Thank you for the follows, by the way. Much appreciated. Trial sets. Have we seen them? Yes. Were they altered? Probably. Were we allowed to talk about it? No. Can we now? Yes. Good. Light. Spell damage. Minor Slayer. We all know what that does. Crit. And spell damage again, but perfected only. So you've got an actual spell damage bonus if you have perfected, rather than the usual flat magical, which is quite nice. But you've got spell damage and crit. Usually it's kind of one or the other. Increases your damage done to... This is good. To non-player enemies by up to 15% based on your missing magicka. This is interesting because if you have lots of magicka left on a Templar and you're using Radiant Oppression, you will hit harder. If you have less, then that doesn't really get affected. But this one boosts your damage the less you have. So if you can manage your resources and be over efficient, you're never going to benefit from this. If you can manage your resources and be efficient enough just to keep it nice and low, that's when it kicks in. That's a very odd and advanced way to look at a set, but we'll see how that works out. So instead of having infinite sustain, that's a negative. You've got to burn through it. So you might want some more expensive bits and pieces in your rotation or your skill set, if you like, to deliberately push yourself into that risky area. Low mag Jesus beams OP. Exactly. What the fuck? That means Radiant Glory actually... See, this is the thing. Radiant Glory heals you and doesn't do the extra damage. Radiant Oppression does more damage if you've got more magicka. When you're low magicka, you're not getting the benefit from Radiant Oppression, obviously, so Glory would be better. In this instance, Glory fucking is better because it boosts it still and you heal. What the fuck? Good for Vampire. It's very vague. Vampire generally has low health, not necessarily magicka. Accidentally using all my resources to benefit now. Hype. Indeed, exactly. So if you run low, like maybe you're one of those people that spam stuff and oh shit, my resources are low, and you've got one hit left in your bar. Bam, it's dead. That's fucking cool. Anyway, we can look at that a bit later. Maybe spam mines until you run out of juice and then just heavy attack and it's stronger. Stone Talker's Oath. This one increases mag recovery. Has minor Aegis. Or Aegis. Thank you for the bits. Much appreciated. Magic recovery again. Magic if you have perfected. Not if you don't. And your fully charged heavy attacks place a soul bomb on your target that charges as the target takes damage. Dean, thank you very much. Get in. Thank you very much indeed. After 10 seconds, the bomb explodes, restoring 5% of the damage received as stamina and magicka, up to 2240 stamina and magicka, to up to 12 members in your group within a 16-meter radius. This can happen every 10 seconds. So, as the healer, if you like, or as a DPS, maybe you're a DPS using it because it doesn't say you have to heal. All you have to do is a heavy attack. During the 10 seconds, the damage done goes boom, and everyone in the group gets resources back. And it will stack, obviously, with Hollow Fang. Doesn't say just your damage. No, it doesn't. It says the damage done to the target. The target has to take damage. I wonder how much damage the bomb does, though. Well, again, you'll have to do the damage to the target to make the bomb do damage. My god, Necromancer Nerf. Frankie, if it's about class stuff and you are trying to get ahead of the streamer, you are going to get timed out. I'm reading it live. Don't come in going ahead of me. Let me go through the motions. You've heard it once, so that's fine. But if people consistently do that, they'll get timed out. Thank you so much for going through all this. You are most welcome. Now, this set was actually quite cool. I did end up getting this on the preview server as well. So, weapon damage, minus Slayer, weapon crit again if you have perfected. So, I mean, if you do want to pack for crit, you're gonna have to get the perfected one to get the most out of it. But when an enemy you recently damaged dies, they leave behind a vengeful soul for 6 seconds. Excuse me, beer burp. You can only create one vengeful soul at a time. Touching the soul will increase your weapon crit by a whopping 2,160, and your critical damage is increased by 12% for 30 seconds. That is fucking bonkers. That's an incredible amount of crit damage even. So when an enemy recently dies that you touched, now how far away that has to be, was that recently as in 2 seconds, 10 seconds, 100 seconds, whatever. But you've got to have ads and they've got to die, and you've got to hit them. That is disgusting. And also quite funny because you can't dummy hump with that shit. Plus it stacks with trap beast. Of course it does, because it's not an individual minor or major. It says nuts. Yes, it is. Where do you find all this? In fact, I'll put the link in the chat. Mods can do this as well, but there you go. If you don't want to listen to me, first of all, I don't know why you're here, but there's the link. Enjoy. Don't come back to the stream talking about stuff I haven't caught up with, though, because we are reading this live. Now, next up is the heavy set. Max Magicka, minor Aegis, max stamina, and max stamina. A tanky set with no health on it. This is stupid. Yes, it stacks with Yorvald's. When you cast an ultimate ability, you and up to 11 group members within a 28-meter radius gain major force for 21 seconds, increasing your critical damage done by 20%, and this can happen once every 30 seconds. Yorvals will crack that up to around that anyway. Rip Warhorn. You know what that means? This is your 100% Warhorn crit damage bonus if you can maintain it, if you use Yorvals with it, obviously, or if you've got a couple of people using it. But at the same time, it allows you to use any ultimate you want without having to use Warhorn. You won't get the resources, but you will get this crit bonus all the time. Doesn't that give you a higher uptime on major forces using Sword and Shield? Empty Sky. This is why you have to keep up rather than trying to get ahead. Yes, I just explained that. Now, Antiquity Mythic. We've got a head piece or a helmet. We haven't had any helmets, actually. Nice. Nova Spam for the win. Yeah, indeed. What are the odds it doesn't get nerfed? I doubt it will, because that's the intention. Love the patch notes. Cyberbrain is running a minute a mile, and how he explains things work. Thank you very much. So, max health, health recovery, armor.
Drinks all around.
Fuck off! Thank you for the follow, by the way. This is a mythic item. Health recovery, 10,760 armor, but reduces your block mitigation to 0. So blocking's useless, but you have a shit ton of armor. That, if you can survive without Ring of the Pale Order, hello Maelstrom. You're not going to die. That's insane. Wow. Blocks are banned, though. All this in one item. Yes, but it takes away your block mitigation. So, if you block, it's a waste of fucking time. Obviously, it can make you not knock backwards, which is what your block can be used for, but you are still going to take the same amount of damage no matter what. Solo stuff, this would be fucking insane. Harpoon's Wanding Kit, mediums, or Wadding Kit even. Dealing direct damage grants you a stack of Hunter's Focus for 1 minute. Up to 10 stacks maximum. You can only stack 1 stack of Hunter's Focus per second. Each stack of Hunter's Focus increases your critical chance by 119 and your critical damage by 12%. So that being 10, that's 1,190 crit chance, and that's going to be, what is it, 10? So 20% crit damage as well. Taking direct damage removes 1 stack of Hunter's Focus. Removing the kit removes all stacks. So don't get hit and you get all these bonuses. Do get hit and you start losing it. So tell your tank to keep a taunt up because you don't want to get hit by stuff. Crit Surgeon helmet. I know, it's fucking mental. Gaze looks like a great PvP set. For me, it always forgets to block non-PvP content. If that is anything to do with this... Oh, never mind. Hello, welcome to the stream. Death Dealer's Fate. It's a ring. Gain a persistent stack of escalating fate every 2 seconds you are in combat, up to 10 stacks. Each stack of escalating fate, increases your maximum stamina, health, and magicka by 150, so that's going to be 1,500. Thank you for the follow. And you lose a stack of escalating feet every 4 seconds you are out of combat, so you've got to stay in the fight to keep that. I'm not that interested in that one. Increase. No, that's a flat stat. Maximum health, magicka, and stamina by 150, stacking up to 10 times. So it's going to be 1,500. Flat stats. Don't really care. For a one-piece set, I think that's a bit weak in comparison to shit like this. This is very much risk for reward. Punish and reward at the same time, if you know what I mean. Same sort of stuff. I just don't know how else I can explain to you. But this one is quite shit in comparison. That should be higher. That 1,500 is not going to make a massive difference. On paper, anyway. Reduces the cost of transmutation ultimate abilities by 15%, while transformed increases your max health, stamina, and magicka by 1216. Thank you very much indeed for the host. Now we're talking. See, this bonus isn't that much, but once you do transform into werewolf, vampire, necro, ulti, whatever, your stats do increase, especially the necro and the vampire. So this is going to be a flat bonus that will stack with the rest of it. It's going to be fucking high. Plus reduction to cost. You start stacking that with the vampire reduction to cost, you can be in that form quite quickly. That's going to be fucking insane. This affects wealth, transformation, blood sign, and bone life. We just went over that. Totally being completely facetious about the not blocking thing, and thanks to welcome to the stream. There are new antiquities in Blackwood, so new motifs, new outfit styles, new furnishings. We can't see these, so I can't really demonstrate them. New furnishing map. Thank you for the follows. Also, unique collectibles. Again, we can't see these, but this is important. This here, the mount for the trial. Kofax! 5,000 bits. Thank you very, very much, dude. That is fucking insane. What a legend. You are now up to 100k. You have your ninja star. Lama, thank you very, very much indeed for the sub. You are the Dragonborn. Get in. You know the rules, people. The fight starts again from scratch. If you kill the Dragonborn, you'll take their place to stream. I have to kill you instead. Do you know what the mount looks like? This is writing. This is text. There are no pictures here. However, it's a giant fucking Welwa. I've been working so distracted. Did you say earlier there's a mount coming? I literally just said it. So, yes, there is. But it's to the trial. So, hard mode, no death, speed run, plus other achievements all combined. You get all the achievements for it all in one. Like, you get it all eventually. You get a mount for it. So, if you do like trials, you do like going for God's Sale, or even if you don't have it and you just want to go for this one instead, there are options, of course, to go for that shit, and you can get the fucking awesome mount. Have there be some cool vampire builds. There already are. You just have to know where to look. Or make them yourself and see what works. Body markings, costumes, etc. We can't see those, so there's no point. 70 new achievements, 7 new titles, 2 new dies. Minty, thank you very much. Beer and cake in the chat, people. You are a legend. Blackwood introduces 2 new dies you obtain. New motifs. Again, we can't see these in the patch notes, so there's no point me going over them. You can look at them in your own time when the PTS is fully updated, and you can go and see them, basically. Endeavors are very important. These allow you to buy stuff which you would normally be able to buy with gems or crown crates and stuff like that. Grumpy Pants, thank you very much. Beer and cake in the chat. Now, when it came to me talking about this in the video, I was very restricted to what I can and can't say about loads of stuff that we did preview. So I was very careful about how I worded it. I said crown store. Yes, it is specifically crown crates. But if your brain works, you know that crown crates come from the crown store. It was just in case they changed stuff when it came out. However, as you can see clearly here, and in their article as well, these can be used to purchase any item from a currently active crown crate. So whichever crates are active at the time, you can buy stuff from there by doing daily and weekly endeavors in the game and gaining currency without spending real money. Speaking of motifs, Wayward Guardian finally came to consoles. Yes. Once you've hit your endeavors limit, you must wait until they reset to complete more. So you've got a certain amount of day and you've got a certain amount of week. Now, the daily and endeavors reset daily, and the weekly endeavors reset with leaderboards. So the same time as all the trial leaderboards and that kind of stuff resets. So you've got to keep an eye on those. The reigning times for these are tracked for you in your endeavors section of the group and activity finder. So go to activity finder section down there, and there's a new tab for that. You can spend seals of endeavor in the seals section of the crown store to purchase items in current available crown crates. So much like you would with gems, you've now got these instead, or as well. When a new crate is offered on the crown store, items available to purchase with the seals also change to max the active crate. Do we know how long we'll have to find to grind an Apex mount? Nope, it's not out yet, so things could change. All items that can be purchased with Seals of Endeavor on the PTS Crown Store are currently priced at 1 seal. This is to aid in testing and not final prices. So basically, you've got almost infinite amount of resources as far as currency is concerned, just to make sure that when you press buy, it works. If it doesn't work, report it. That's the purpose of testing. I know it's really confusing for people when you say the T word, but that's what it is at the moment. Prices will be known later. Most likely when it's released, if not possibly like a week before or so. It depends on how they feel about it at the time. If you're familiar with how these patches work, you will have to remind yourself to be patient and wait and see. But ability timers. Yes, I also did play with these on the preview. Obviously, that was very, very early. Things have changed a bit since then. But the visual that we did see was, you know where your skills normally are, where you activate a skill and it has kind of pulses a bit just to let you know that you activated it. Well, that kind of darkened out and there was a timer over top of it. Where that goes eventually, like how far they're going to go over it, we don't know, but we'll have to test it now and see if it works. If it doesn't, they'll alter it along the way. But inspired by the popular PC add-on Action Duration Reminder, a new setting has been added to the combat settings menu for the ability bar timers. And this is for all platforms. Are seals tradable? I would highly doubt it. When enabled, using an ability will display a timer that, over that ability's icon, corresponding to the duration of its effect. This includes abilities on enemies as well as friendly targets. So before, if you put down Wall of Elements, you wouldn't be able to see the timer for it if you're on console or playing base game and not using add-ons. Now you can. Also, you can enable timers for the back bar, which will display smaller timers for the abilities on the ability bar that isn't currently active. These options are both in the keyboard and mouse and the gamepad UI and are off by default. So, the way that I can best describe this is you have your bar in front of you, and what we saw when we were testing it in preview is you had kind of not a full bar at the back, but a kind of over top of it, kind of sneaking behind it, you saw another timer. That's your back bar. How that will come out onto live eventually, we don't fully know because things might change, but that was how it was in testing. And it was fucking nice to see. It was really, really cool. So you hit Wall of Elements and it grays it out a little bit and has a really bright timer over top of it, just ticking and ticking and ticking. You can see how long is left and everything. Nova Bird, thank you very much. Amazing, especially since I suck at keeping track of timers. Well, generally I try to give people rotations that actually work in content rather than you just humping a dummy with it. It helps to be able to keep on top of those timers anyway, but I do normally construct them in such a way that everything is covered for you. However, if you're in mechanics and maybe you can't micromanage your timers in your own head, now you've got that extra bonus there to tell you, hey, you forgot your fucking volley. Cast it again. Really, really handy. New monster masks. This update, we added 3 new monster masks, and they are located in the Imperial City. The masks drop from their respective monsters from the trophy vault chests in their districts, reviving the trophy vaults. Hello. And the shoulder can be purchased from the Telvar merchant. Now, I'm not going to try and even pronounce some of these, but you've got this one here. Max stamina. When you break free, you release a wave of Watcher enemy, causing enemies within 8 meters of you to become feared for 3 seconds. You also gain 34 weapon and spell damage for each enemy hit up to 6 enemies for 7 seconds. So you do this, break free, everyone runs like fuck. That's fucking bonkers. And also there's a free CP for that. So break free for free, scare everyone away. Fucking cool. Given new stuff, older content is like, this will never cease to be awesome. Monster sets in fucking Imperial City. Can I have the option to say who you forgot your fucking volley? Yes, of course you can. These are boss names as well. These are actually boss names from Imperial Sea. So, max armor and max health. When you take damage while below 50% health, gain immunity to mobilization, snares, and crowd control effects for 10 whole seconds. This effect can happen once every 40. So, if you are taking some serious fucking damage, you have an automatic immovability pot. That's quite nice. So, if you can't micromanage your stuff, you're not paying attention, your movability pot fucking just ran out. Free immovable. If you could time that really, really well over 40 seconds, I mean, you could mess with some potion bonuses in your jewelry traits and shit like that. Have a really good duration or constant pop with your immovables. You could probably get this to land between 2 of the potions. So you can get that down to, what, 12 seconds? And you can get your potion reused down to 30 seconds, actually less than that. So you could fire immovable, then pop this, then fire immovable again, or whatever. You've got so much fucking choice there. It's nuts. Head Design Ninjas, how you doing? You could be an absolute machine where you can just never get fucking stunned. And finally, the third one. Max health. While in combat, each second you stand still grants you a stack of Flesh Fortress up to 10 times. Each stack increases your armor by 380, so 3,800, and your critical resistance by 38, so 380. Each second you move removes a stack of Flesh Fortress. Exit and combat also removes all the stacks as well. Using a charge and teleport abilities do not remove the stacks. So you can stand still and get really, really chunky. Shield charge someone, stand the fuck still. Look around, being chunky. Shield charge someone else, still be quite chunky. It's a bit nuts. If you are one of those stand still, I'm a brick wall bastards, just chaining people in, being really annoying while other people drop death squares on them, that would be quite handy. Are proc sets making a comeback in PvP in Blackwood? There are proc sets anyway. As far as PvP is concerned, we will have to wait and see as to when that does and doesn't happen because they're still running tests. They did mention the 6-month thing, then they went back on a 3-month. We'll wait and see what happens. They all look PvP orientated. They should do. It's from PvP. This is actually from Imperial City. Not Imperial City Prison. Imperial City. The last one looks good for PvE too. Yes, I mean, if you are standing still on the boss and maybe, for example, you're stuck in loads of... You're new to Hellra. We can gauge a situation there where we could benefit from this. So the crit resistance is going to be shit for you. But the armor... Let's just say your resistance buff is on your back bar. You're not familiar with the boss. You're not very good with the mechanics. But you can stand still and taunt. You never let your taunt run out. You don't have to keep swapping bars to try and get your resistance buff on. Or you don't have to mess with extra buffs and bonuses to try and get that like decent amount of resistance from it. So if you set your character up enough to be just under cap and then stood still, you could basically have this buff all the time, meaning you could have your max mitigation without having to complicate the fuck out of things. Or you could just use chew down. But either way, I mean, it will have application when you stand still. So there's going to be situations where you could use it. Maybe situations where you can't. Maybe you can't get chew down. Who knows? It's cool. Bankable outfit styles. With update 30, you can now deposit outfit styles into your bank or guild banks. Handy for socking away those spare holiday styles. Good, because they are clogging up some of my characters. Anybody like watermelons? Some people do. Some people don't. Master Writ Quest Assistance. Beginning with this update, your Master Writ quests will point you towards the correct set crafting station to use to complete that quest. Handy shit. New tutorial. Of course, we've got a new tutorial. And when you go into the tutorial, you can actually pick which way you go. The base game stuff, and I believe the DLC stuff as well. Although in the video, I just said base game stuff. Because, again, we played a very early preview. I'm not going to give you necessarily false information, but I don't want to say stuff that might be happening that wasn't necessarily going to go through. But this did. So, you've got your major areas that you can choose for chapters or base game. So when you start the tutorial, you get taught all the shit, and then you got these portals, and you're like, where do I want to start? And now you get to choose rather than just being flung in the world and not knowing what to do. You can do them in any order anyway, but now you've got a choice of where to start. 2 new homes as well. I haven't seen these, so I can't really comment on them, because I didn't see the houses at the time. But we can't even see a picture of them anyway. The quest set pointer is so good. Yeah, indeed. Housing update. You can now precision edit furniture items and path nodes from the housing editor retrieve menu without first having to pick them up. So a bit of quality of life there. This allows you to make precise tweaks to objects that are embedded in other objects or which are otherwise difficult to select normally. So if you've got loads and loads of stuff in a fruit bowl maybe, and you want to get to that one underneath, instead of having to retrieve it, completely put it in your inventory and put it back, you can now kind of just jiggle it a little bit from that menu. A lot of good stuff seen in the patch notes so far. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Getting to choose tutorial is so nice, starting with Skyrim over and over gets boring. Template information, obviously that's PTS based. You do have a max level template on there if you want it. Gameplay and combat, or vice versa. This could be interesting. You have to sip beer if something's going to be interesting. So you're all smashed by now, I would imagine. Major Gallop is currently applying to toy mounts. Well, absolutely hilarious. This is unfortunately unintended. Okay, so that's not supposed to happen. But shh, we can have fun with it for now. The abilities that underwent changes to area of effect adjustments currently do not respect the standard target cap. So these are things that are issues or being altered. Activating a synergy from Narcotic Orb or its morphs will cause the orb to tick an extra time when activated. This is not the boom we are looking for. Button Seed's secondary heal can sometimes double fire. Agony Totem synergy can sometimes become unavailable if recast early. These are really important actually because they are testing bugs at the moment that are on the PTS, and you might end up with, I don't know, some stupid shitty fucking Eurotrash YouTube video from someone that's never made a video in their life telling you how OP they are, taking advantage of bugs just to get clicks. Know your issues. Know not to fucking exploit them because they're going away. Mistform and its morphs will currently remove existing CC immunity when you stop channeling, even if they have a duration remaining. Bone Tome and its morphs are currently fearing enemy rather than waiting for their listed delays. I think I missed one here as well. Bone Tome and its morphs fear will currently apply to justice NPCs, even if preventing target innocence is turned on. So yeah, you can interact with shit when you shouldn't do. Companions are having their own issues as well. Do you know what? We probably won't go over all of these because they are bugs, and I'm going to put it in the chat. Wait there. If you're watching this on YouTube, by the way, tomorrow, description, there's a link there. So you can go over all these in your own time. There are known issues. But if you find any extra ones, definitely report them. Can someone link this? I literally just did. Why do people join the stream to then go, hey, I don't want to listen to you. Give me the link instead. Google ElderScrollsOnline.com, patch notes 7.0. Music, there you go, dude. I posted it for you anyway. I love how people find your stream first rather than Elder Scrolls Online, though. I mean, that's pretty good. SEO is working. Right, achievements, Adore and Admire achievement cannot currently be advanced. These are issues again. Read through these in your own time. Said that before you linked it. Not according to the chat. Abilities that have stack counts associated with them, such as Grim Focus, do not currently display the stack count yet. Abilities that swap icons based on criteria, such as Grim Focus, again, aren't currently undimmed during the swap, so it's inadvertently more difficult to see. So again, you are for the skill timers, UI, sorry, for the skill timers, do have some issues. Bear in mind, this is a test server. Shit happens. They'll be fixed along the way. Let's see. Fixes and improvements. Reduce the number of items needed for the Harvest Nodes and Clockwork City Slagtown dailies to 3, down from 6. Fixed an issue where Slagtown dailies. Thank you for the bits. Oh my god, you have a ninja star. Enjoy. It's choosing to start in an area only available with Blackwood, or also for players that are only base game. It's a Blackwood tutorial. But as far as that goes, I'm not sure. It's supposed to come from that, but whether they change it for the base game or not, I didn't see that. Now, every chapter does come with its own individual one, so they always have that. Fixed and improvements. Copy of the sealed letter from however the fuck you say that. It's supposed to be Kasura, but I'm going to pronounce it wrong and butcher it, and someone's going to go, that's not how you say it! Well, I'm sure you can speak Dwemer too. Can now be found inside the Valley of the Blades. In the prologue quest, we're not going to go over that because that's select areas where some people might have it and some people won't. We want to look for the big bugs. New Moon Rising, fixing issue with this. Nope, that's quest stuff. We're going ahead a little bit here. Zones and quests, again, the link is in the chat right now if you want to see that stuff. Because maybe one person has it, or maybe everyone does. Crafting and economy, we will read that. Fixed an issue that caused the wrong crafting style items to drop from a dungeon in this DLC. Huntsman style items will now drop from the bosses in March of Sacrifices, and Silver Dawn will drop from the bosses in Moonhunter Keep. So if you are having issues with the wrong motif, that's now fixed. Typo fixed. Nice. Greymore fixed an issue where Antiquity Mound in Cold Harbor near the Court of Contempt would show up outside of the scrying area. Currently active Harrow Storms even will now be indicated on the Greymore or Blackreach map for players located in those zones. Handy. And fucking hell. Updated Champion of Vivek achievement to 50 points. Nice. See, again, we still don't use those points for anything, but I'll take the 50 points, whatever. You can now interact correctly. No, more bugs. Zone stuff. Haha! Crafting economy. Fix an issue where having too many people fishing for the crab sorter crane at once would scare it off. This rare Rothgar fish should now be obtainable by large fishing parties once again. I don't have that. Zone quests and issues, there are bugs with them. They are now fixed, whatever they may be. Nature's Bounty is, by the way, the name of a build, but it's also a wild boss. Fix an issue where using the cleansing totem might not always pay its effect when used on Aura of Corruption. On a semi-parallel note, I love the fact that Zos Professor took the time to poke fun at themselves by being sarcastic. House to speak to Emma at Lore Book in a game. Oh, they're fucking full of jokes, dude. If you play any of the Elder Scrolls games, not just Elder Scrolls Online, but the previous ones, the single-player RPGs, full of Easter eggs and cookies and shit, just like that. I'm glazing over the fixes and improvements as far as the quests are concerned again, because this doesn't necessarily apply to everybody. And you can read through these, just maybe you are having this issue. If I read through this one specifically, there might be a large amount of people in the chat that have this, or there might be none. The combat stuff I tend to go over in a bit more detail because that affects everybody. Unless it's quality of life stuff. Now, backpacks, dressers, wardrobes, nightstands, trunks, desks, cabinets, and cupboards in religious locations within the Thieves Guilds will now also drop religious items. That is important for everyone. Combat stuff! Another disclaimer. Again, there are rules in the stream. Do not get ahead of me while I'm reading this. If you've already seen it, good for you. Be patient. I'm reading it live. If you try and get ahead of me just to show off in the chat to get people to go, oh my god, you're so clever, you will get timed out. Patience, Iago. Right. Reduced player group size limitations from global maximum of 24 to 12 in all activities rather than only Cyrodiil and Trials. So, pay attention to that. Fixed an issue where a target could occasionally appear to have died twice in the combat logs. Excuse me. Fixed an issue where some abilities that turned into new abilities in conditional situations could not be used after activating, such as Brutal Pounce or Blighted Blast Bones. There was a video recently, I don't want to call out names because it's rude, but someone had a fucking meltdown about this rather than just being patient with it. Yes, that is now fixed. Enjoy. Fixed an issue where the Atronach Serpent Mundus Stones did not apply to your out-of-combat recovery as well, which they should. That means while you're running around spamming abilities, whatever, you can still do that. Fix an issue where status effects that dealt instantaneous damage would remove the caster from stealth, as well as failing to trigger the event, such as a target being under the effect of status. Fix an issue where the guaranteed crit strike bonus damage from attacks made while hidden in crouch would fail on many attacks. Don't make me become your daddy, especially while I'm still at work. It will now properly grant a guaranteed critical strike on your next direct damage attack, dealing 46% bonus damage if ranged, now magical and martial rather than only martial. So the magical stuff wasn't working properly. 275% bonus damage if a melee attack, magical or martial, so range based rather than only martial, and to stun the target of the martial or magical melee attack. So this is very specific to all damage types of that kind of area rather than just the physical stuff. Note, the bonus critical damage is still reduced significantly, and these values are their original versions. Okay. Fixed an issue where many sneak cost reduction bonuses were additive instead of multiplicative. Yes, because otherwise you would end up gaining stamina. Fixed an issue where some of the synergies were occasionally not prompted to activate them until you left and re-entered the area if your cooldown for the synergy ended while you were already inside the area. I've seen that happen for spears, actually. Backstab for the win. Yes, that's exactly what it meant. Question to settle some confusions. Are these fixes for PTS or only live servers already? This is for PTS. This is a PTS stream. Patch notes are for the next update, not necessarily for live now. So things will change over time. These are the intention to fix existing bugs, but they're not going to go live until the new chapter does. Where did that go? The following abilities will now deal purely bleed damage rather than physical, or a mix of physical and bleed. Bloodthirst. You know Toxicity uses this. This morph or the other, doesn't matter. If that's going to be bleed, that means you can put... not Sundered, the other one. Hemorrhage on the target, meaning that you basically minor mangle the fuck out of it, reducing its max health by 10% if it's not a boss. Carve, Cutting Dive, Pounce, Trap Beast, Twin Slashes, all bleeds. Unless they got physical as well. Can you explain 24-person thing? Well, some abilities were capping out at 24, now they cap out at 12. Thank you for the follow. Bash damage is now consistent with weapon ability since it has a cost, or considered weapon ability. So if you have a skill set or an armor set or whatever that says weapon abilities, that applies to that. Also, with that being the case, that will apply to the Red Guard passive as well. Poe Goliath Bash is now considered a player class ability rather than a specific weapon ability. Aha! Dragons get affected by hemorrhage too. Yes, DJ. We could be here for a long time finding all the different variables that applies to while I'm trying to read through this. Patience. Now, removed visual and sound effects from each of the following ground effect ticks to reduce battlefield clutter and noise. Graveyard and morphs, Lightning Splash and morphs, Nova and morphs. I know why you've done that. That's great. But I like the sound of Nova. Sound Panda. What do they mean by visuals like they're invisible? Removed visual and sound effects. As in, some things are too cluttered. So they remove them completely or lower them if they're not coming from you. The following abilities have reached significant adjustments to how the server handles their behavior. So this is what all the PvP stuff was for as well, by the way. Not just PvE, but PvP testing. Once they remove all the procs to test shit, they get rid of all that fucking clutter, regardless of people going, oh, they ripped my build, bro. Get rid of all that clutter, and they can see now what abilities are affecting what. So there is always a purpose for this, regardless of how many backseat devs think they know it all. I love the way Nova sounds and swells after it lands. Exactly, right? Anyway, following abilities have received significant adjustments to how the server handles their behavior, reducing messages sent between the client and the server, reducing the total amount of area of effect events occurring. This will largely have little to no effect on their gameplay other than improving their response time to entering or leaving the area of effect. In rarer cases, it will reduce the interaction with the sets that proc off application of buffs or debuffs, since you will no longer repeatedly apply these effects to targets inside the area every tick, but rather, for the duration, the target is inside the area. The synergies, when applicable, have also been updated to be far more reliable to activate when in the area, and they will no longer persist for a short duration after each tick, allowing you to access them in cases where they could fail or were already used, going on cooldown with no effect or gaining their effects despite being already used. So this part here, if, for example, the enemy is... Let me read through this again so it's clearer. In some rare cases, it will reduce the interaction with the sets that proc off application of buffs and debuffs, since they will no longer repeatedly apply the effects. So sometimes when you're trying to make something fire, it goes over and over and over and over. It's constant callback to the server. But if it's over the certain duration of times, it will remember that, yeah, you're already doing this shit. It doesn't have to keep calling it back. Blood Altar and Morphs. In an instance where Blood Feast and Blood Funnel are both available, Blood Feast will always now take priority as it is the strongest. Bone Totem and Morphs, Boneyard and Morphs, Cleansing Ritual and Morphs, both Morphs of Dragon Knight Standard. This will also fix an issue where the morphed version of the ability failed to properly fire its synergy shackle when activated. That has actually failed to fire full fucking stop, which is annoying. Lightning Splash and Morphs, Necrotic Orb and Morphs, Negate Magic and Morphs, Nova and Morphs, Rune Focus and Morphs, Spear Shards and Morphs. So sounds and or visuals are removed or altered in order to lessen all the fucking drama with this, and of course alter how they read for certain sets and bonuses and skills. Performance, basically. Buffs and debuffs. Minor lifesteal and magic steal. Both of these effects have received significant back-end adjustments to how they operate, fixing many cases where the caster of the effect would change contexts. They are now considered to be sourced from the caster of the effect rather than the target of the effect. So the person that put it on the target rather than the person that receives it. Minor lifesteal now exhibiting the following behavior. Healing done comes from the caster's effect. Healing taken comes from the trigger of the effect, the triggerer, so whoever activates it. Crit strike chance and bonus to triggered of the effect, so the person who does that shit. And it will continue to not proc events such as healing caused as it is not... let me read that again. It will continue to not proc events such as healing caused as it is a procced event. So this again is a performance-based thing that they've noticed was a problem and they've altered it. You might not see any major differences to its performance itself as far as the skills are concerned when you're actually using them, but the server most definitely does know the difference. And there is a little bit to consider if you're going for the whole very, very precise way to use something, but overall you're going to see pretty much the same sort of stuff. Dragonite, Draconic Power, Dragon Blood, specifically coagulating blood. I need to get a sip of beer, so you're going to have to wait for a minute. And do this. You notice how I take a break when it comes to the Dragonite? Not biased at all. You know what I said, I don't have a favourite? Listen. Shh. Right. Coagulating Blood. Fix an issue where this ability appeared to rank up in 1 second duration per rank. Reduce the cost of this ability by 3780 down from 4320. So this heal is now cheaper. To add improvement to the morph rather than just changing its functionality. Molten Weapon, Molten Armaments morph. Fix an issue where this ability could fail to apply some of its buffs to the group members. So that's supposed to give Major Brutality and Major Sorcery to your group for 12 people, and it was not working properly. Necromancer, Gravelord, Boneyard. This ability in its morphs now lasts 10 seconds in total instead of 10.5. The synergy from these abilities now heal the synergy activator rather than the caster of the synergy source. Death Knell, reduce the amount of critical chance granted from this passive to 2 to 4% per Gravelord ability rather than 5 to 10. So at the moment, if you have, say, 3 abilities on your bar, you get 30% bonus, and the intention is to now only give you 12. I'm retiring my Necromain, and that's what happens. Really? We're going to do that based on patch notes? Come on, you know better than that. Everything that goes live is usually okay, and people just create shit trains online. Don't worry, it'll be okay. There'll be other ways to wiggle stuff. Now, Bone Tyrant. Rework the base operations disability rank up progression to... Start again. Bone Totem. Rework the base operations of this ability rank up by progression to result in the same values as rank 4, but with a less decimal places along the way. So Agony Totem, the synergy for this morph, Pure Agony, now has a 6-person target cap rather than hitting unlimited targets. That should do that anyway because any debuff-based skill is supposed to hit 6. So if it's a pen debuff or it's a buff to damage or something like that, so Engulfing Flames will hit unlimited amount of targets. But the damage over time, because it's individual, and the debuff or bonus to flame damage will only hit 6 people. Same with Noxus Breath as well. That adds a pen debuff. That only hits 6. Anything like that will only ever hit 6 targets. This was somewhat broken and hitting fucking everything. Fix an issue where the final tick of this synergy damage was not applied. Excuse me, amplified by minor vulnerability source. Fix an issue where the damage also caused hit reactions despite being damage over time. So reactions to like direct and shit like that. Wrong damage source. Shadow Cloak, Dark Cloak morph. Reduce the healing of this morph by approximately 5%. Whatever. Dark Magic, Negate Magic. Don't fuck with this. Okay, I can see what they've done. And it makes sense why. The morph of this ability now ticks every 1 second instead of every 500 milliseconds. So this used to tick every half a second. Yes, that was cool. Yes, it's very fast paced. But what you have to consider while they're trying to optimize performance, that's a callback to the server, client, whatever, backwards and forwards every half a second instead of every 1. If they cut that down, that's quite fucking efficient. That's 50% efficiency there, just in the back end kind of stuff. This increases the potency of their ticks by 103%, however, to ensure their DPS and hit points remains almost the same, as well as fix an issue with their values where missing rank up progression built into them. Scrolling combat text now properly displays successful silences with these abilities. So it's got a very, very minor buff, while consolidating it to increase, obviously, the tick damage rather than having several really, really fast ones. So 2 here are now the quality of 1. So the same technically damage over time. They have slightly boosted it a bit. Bolt Escape, Ball of Lightning. This ability's projectile absorption now operates more closely to Spell Wall or other abilities that deal with absorbing, deflecting range attacks. Another one like that is... Oh, my brain has stopped. There's a set, and I've forgotten it, and it's from Blessed Crucible. And we've been in there so much, killing that fucking teabag boss. I'll come back to it. I can't remember what it's called. But it's there anyway. 25% to reflect stuff. This should fix a few issues where it could absorb attacks it shouldn't have been able to. Fair. Oh, it's going to bug me now. Nicolas. That's the one. Someone's going to get them in the chat eventually, and they're going to repeat it after I did. Mage's Wrath fixed an issue where the execute components... Yes, Xeon, that's the one. Execute components of this ability and its morphs were missing rank up progression. Each version of the ability will gain a total of 3.3% damage for the execute's single target and area of effect component. So this wasn't doing as it should, and now it will. So stronger versus what we know. Spirit Shard's Luminous Shard morph. This morph synergy now restores full resources for the Magicka and stamina granted rather than half of the stat granted. That was busted. We'll go through the spoiler in a moment. Living Dark. This morph now scales off your maximum health or spell damage, whichever results in a higher value rather than a mix of spell damage and max Magicka. So tanky people are going to be really happy with that, or high spell damage users. Let's read it. Templars currently have very few tools that they can use as tanks, so we've opted to utilize a unique scaling method here to ensure the ability can be utilized by both defensive and offensive builds. That's very true. They don't have a root. They don't have too much in the way of a personal heal, apart from the stuff that's scaled off of high damage resources. So Breath of Life, shit like that. Whereas the DK Necromancer, Nightblade, Sorcerer, if you use the pet, and Warden all have health scaling heal abilities. They don't. This isn't alleviating everything, but we've got another health-based skill for the Templar, which is quite nice. Nova, the synergy from the ultimate and Solar Disturbance morph Supernova now stuns enemies for 3 seconds, up from 2.5. Fair enough, lining that up. Makes sense. Remove the target cap, the damage, major maim, and synergy damage, and stun on all versions of the ultimates. So instead of hitting 6 now, that is uncapped. Because it's a very unique instance of that particular debuff and buff, or whatever you want to call it. Fixed an issue where major maim from these ultimates was applying twice. Mages don't stack with mages. Whoops. Resulting in more damage reduction than intended. Solar Prison. The synergy from this morph, Gravity Crush, now has a proper radius of 8 meters instead of 10. Increase the damage of this synergy by approximately 14%. Pick up your synergies. Solar Disturbance. Reduce the base cost of the morph to 225 down from 250, so it's cheaper than the other one. And this ultimately now ranks up in duration with Major Maim applied to enemies rather than damage done. Major Maim now lasts 7 seconds at base and ranks up to 10 seconds rather than 4 seconds at all ranks. That is a substantial change, very, very helpful in damage mitigation situations where you want to make sure everyone's alive. Still no CC though? We're getting there, dude. There are options for that. No spoilers though, because there's videos coming eventually. Restore and Light, Cleansing Ritual. The synergy from this ability and its morphs no longer requires you to have a negative effect active. Rune Focus. Increase the base duration of this to 17 seconds up from 14. Fucking hell. This ability and its morphs no longer grant you an additional 2974 armor when standing in them, but instead you heal 4.5% of your max health every 1 second. Oh my god! Okay, let's face it. That massive armor bonus is a bit fucking broken anyway if you're standing in it. But most people generally don't benefit from it because if they're dead, they're dead. They stand in stupid. Whatever. Most people. Not all. This... 4.5% of your max health every 1 second. You know when I said they don't have a heal based on max health, the Templar? If you have lots and lots of health, this, every tick, constantly running, is fucking broken. That's really strong. You could basically just sit... It's like a built-in leeching. And it will stack with it. Channel Focus. This morph now increases duration of the ability and continues to rank up the duration ending in 25 seconds up from 20. So a much longer duration. Actually quite handy for DPSs as well if you want to fit it inside your rotation, because most people, if they're using a very static one, tend to have about 11 or 12 seconds. Meaning, even if you did have the latter of the two, you would have a 24-second uptime on this, which means you've got 1 second spare. You're never going to run out. Yeah, I do this all the time. Sorry. Increase the magicka restored per tick by... No, not... Did it increase it? Increase magicka restored to... it's not a lot. It's only 2. So every single second, you'll end up with 2 more. Over 25 seconds, you're going to get 50 magicka back. It's fine. Fucking template bits. Fuck you, Bob. It's strong, mate. This here is very nice, and this duration is actually pretty damn fucking cool. I mean, that also lines up with stuff like the other major resolve buffs from other classes, because they tend to have quite a high duration. Apart from heavy armor stuff, which is about 20 seconds. Do you reckon your Nature's Bounty build will still be good after this? Yeah, of course it will. We'll just have to wait and see what happens to it. Restore and focus. This morph now increases the healing done by 25%. Fuck off. And ranks up in healing done by 1.1% per rank rather than duration. Note the duration remains 20 seconds due to the base ability increase. Yeah, of course. This morph increases healing done. Now, this is a stamina restore ability. Normally, if you're a healer, you want to have the magical one, right? But if you have the stamina return instead, maintain your resources, 25% healing done on a Templar. You remember when 25% was reduced? And someone buried one for that? Welcome back! Jesus fucking Christ, that's insane. 25% healing done. Now, of course, they're not a Warden. They don't have AoE... Well, they do have AoE heals, but they don't have as much burst AoE as a Warden. But their single target heals are going to be fucking strong. And that's on a stamina morph as well. Stamina DPSs are going to be very, very easy to keep themselves alive. That makes the Templar healer quite happy. Yeah, you actually main one, don't you? That's true. You and the other cow. Reduce the base cost to 918 down from 920. That's meh. To ensure it meets 15% standard cost reduction for stamina-based abilities. The 2 stamina may save your life one day, just maybe. So, a little bit of a joke there, but obviously there are rules to their skills across the board. When they say standardization, they want everything to make sense and be kind of on a level playing field. There was a slight inconsistency there, so they did obviously alter it. Am I going to temporary approves? Yeah, of course. I can see this going down. I think that might end up... 25 is an odd number for that as well, for them to change it. I'm going to estimate between 12 and 18. But it might go live. You never know. Templar healer for the win. Here we go. All the Templar healers are coming out of the cupboard. And confusers that buff the health, heal, or everything. Healing done. Any heal that you do, regardless of which source it is from. Healing received is the heal that heals your bar. And yes, they stack. You're optimistic, 20%? Maybe, but I'm going to say between 12 and 18. As a guess. But we'll see. It might even come through as that. They might intend it. I mean, here's the thing. If you have... This is a base. The ability in its morphs no longer granted, blah, 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 blah. So this here is a base, right? So you got 5% almost there. 4.5% healing done every second. Which stacks to 25% healing done. This is your literally built-in healing, leeching buff to fuck, which will stack with it. Templar tanks, depending on how you build them, if you're clever about the skills and morphs you choose, and obviously the overall build, may be very hard to move. They might be a brick fucking wall, which is quite cool. Got into that. Winter's Embrace. Arctic Wind. We knew this was going to get fucking altered. Reduce the base heal of this ability and its morphs by 20%, and the heal over time and ability by 17%. This was inevitable, because there are ways to make this so fucking strong. On the Atronach build, which didn't actually get an update for the last patch, but it will do on the website. I didn't have time to make the video for it. That could actually get in excess of around 60k fucking heals. That was too much. And that's for you and somebody else. The bow, rapid fire, toxic barrage. Fix an issue where the damage over time for this ultimate failed to apply to targets that block the attack. Destruction stuff, elemental storm. Fix an issue where this ability and its morphs were not considered weapon abilities in some cases. So a prime example of that might be sets or the red guard passive. Impulse. The flame variants of this ability and its morphs now better describe their behavior. So we fixed an issue where the tooltip cost of impulse and its morphs were 3, 5, 10 without the ability slotted. Their actual cost is 3, 7, 8, 0, which updates when you apply the ability to your bar with a destruction staff equipped. Wall of Elements fixed an issue where the versions of these abilities were incorrectly labeled as other versions, gaining or missing out on the contextual bonuses such as 20% bonus from Wall of Fire. So that's fucking handy. Dual Wield, Blade Cloak, Deadly Cloak Morph, in fact. This ability now deals double damage instead of a double tick rate. This will result in a 9% damage increase and will require you to stick to your target more and has less of a chance to proc effects. Fair enough. Lacerate. I like this ability, but I don't see a lot of people using it. Actually, no, it's still very viable. Of course, it's the V word. Of course it is. And it hit Polar Winds, in my opinion. You can use what you want, mate. But it's still fucking... It was overkill. It's ridiculously powerful. But we'll have to see. Again, this is PTS. Things can change. That could go up. That could go down. This is not live. This is a list of things that they are working on that we get to test and give feedback on. But it doesn't mean go on the forums and scream, fix your fucking game, you piece of shit. That's not helpful. Nobody wants to hear that. Shush. If you have actual feedback, like, oh, I tested it and I found blah, 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 that helps. Or, I don't think it should be increased because here's an example. Give examples, don't just do this. I can't be any clearer that. That doesn't help anyone. Right, that's not aimed at anyone particularly in the chat, by the way. It's just an ongoing thing that happens. Fix an issue where this ability and its morphs were not considered weapon abilities in some cases. Again, Red Guard passive and some other things. Bloodthirst, or Flurry, in fact. Fix an issue where the heal from this morph was not considered dual wield or weapon ability. Ahaha! That's important if you know your passives. Twin Blade and Blunt passive now increases your critical damage done with axes by 3% to 6% per rank, rather than 4%. So higher crit damage if you choose to use axes. Blood Craze. Fix an issue where the heal from this morph was not considered dual wield. So again, passives, very important. One-handed shield charge, evasion morph. Fix an issue where the bonus damage to the stun based on your distance could be carried over to another target if you immediately cast the ability. Naughty. Blessing of Protection. Fix an issue where this ability could force you to cast the ability in directions that were not where your cursor was pointed. So indirect heals in the wrong direction. Fix an issue where the visuals from this ability and its morphs lasted longer. If you had the Dark Veil passive unlocked, the light shall no longer try to flush out the dark when unintended. The ultimate. Fixed an issue where this ultimate and its morphs were not labeled as healing abilities on their initial cast. Steadfast Ward, so the Ward ally morph. Fixed an issue where the ally targeted shield was not considered a restoration staff ability. So they're missing their passives for a lot of it. You like any highlights? Yeah, I'm going through the whole fucking thing. You'll just have to join and catch up. Hey everyone, are you doing well? Can your Immortal Tank build work well in PvP? It's not built for that, but yeah, it's been in PvP a lot. It's not designed to kill shit, but people have a very hard time killing you. Two-hander, Cleave, Brawler morph. Fix an issue where the shield from this morph was missing a rank up progression built into it. This will result in a 3.3% stronger shield. Heavy weapon. This passive now increases your critical damage. Going to be the same for the two-handed axe as it is for the individual axes, giving a 12% crit damage bonus instead of 8. Reverse Slash, Reverse Slice morph. Fixed an issue. I need to go up the screen a bit, don't I? Fixed an issue where the area of effect component of this ability was not considered a two-hander ability. So there's a lot of issues here with passives. Momentum. So Rally. Fixed an issue where this ability's initial cast was not considered a heal in some cases. And, words are hard by the way, made numerous improvements to this ability's stack and heal bonus to reduce the cases where the bonus to the heal would remain or be lost in certain cases where it shouldn't. Read that one already. How's our Ninjas? Rydux, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Wait, so does us change from crit chance to crit damage? No, you have to listen very, very carefully because there's a lot to go through. The crit damage was heightened. So it used to give you an 8% bonus for a two-handed axe. It used to give you 4% bonus for one-handed axe. So if you have two of them, it's 8. Now it's gone up to 6 per axe or 12 for a two-hander. So if you want to build for crit and you want to take advantage of crit chance, you can now get a higher hit from axes, but obviously you won't have the dagger bonus, which gives you chance. It's one or the other. So you'd have to find your chance somewhere else. This was fucking inevitable. Oh my god. This ability in its morphs now tick every 1 second. Obviously, the ticks were so fucking fast. Constant callbacks. It gets messy. Would that do healing too? Yes, it does. Rather than every half a second. So instead of every half second, you get every 1 second. Makes sense. Increase the damage per tick in this ability by approximately 16%. Fuck my life. Decrease the travel speed of the orb so it is easier to land multiple ticks on low mobility enemies. Meaning, you don't have to keep cheating on the dummy and standing to its side to give the longer side of the dummy so you can get more ticks on it. Now it will just do its damage. It's fine. This will be an overall DPS loss. There we go. Decrease the travel speed of the orb so it's easier to land multiple ticks on low mobility enemies. This will be an overall DPS loss, getting these abilities closer to another AoE dot in power. Note, these will be stronger than most other damage over time due to their higher variance of performance, especially in higher mobility encounters. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. So axes are back. Axes never died. People always have this it's out, it's in, it's out, it's in mentality. It was never gone in the first place. It's just that you have to build for crit chance elsewhere. And most people are not technically doing that. They're just trying to stack as much crit as possible. But at the moment, you'll get an 8% bonus if you double stack them. Soon, you'll get a 12% bonus. Or you can just mix and match them. Where the fuck did I go? Fix an issue where the AoE size of the synergy from this ability and its morphs was 7 meters instead of 8. Healing orbs increase the heal per tick of this morph by approximately 38%, so it's much, much stronger. This will result in a less total heal. However, healing overall, but will still be stronger than most AoE heal over times. So, the ticks are not as fast as before. So, the reason the damage could go up or down is because if you had constant crits or not constant crits, it could hit or miss with every half a second of a tick. If you have 1 second ticks, it's literally hit or miss. You can't really do much about that. So if you fail to crit a half tick and then crit a half tick straight afterwards, you've got a not and a plus. So a shit one and a good one in the same second. Now it is one or the other. Still miss the axe bleed. Yeah, me too. That's true. I did like the bleed from that. I don't know, so be more aware of you aiming it, I guess. Yeah, pretty much. So how you build is actually going to affect that quite heavily. Assault caltrops increase the damage per tick. Good, I like that. And it's more to approximately 36% and will now deal damage equatable to the normal damage over time ability rather than being weaker than them. The reason it was weaker generally is because of the debuff it applies, because you can't have everything in one fucking skill. Like bubbles, for example, resource gain, damage done, fucking AoE, damage over time, everything, so many different things all packed into one. You have to kind of manage it somehow. And Caltrops was quite heavy on the debuff and at one point heavy on the damage as well. Then they brought the damage down to line it up a little bit better so that the debuff was the most important part of it alongside the snares, but it was a bit too weak. So now they pushed it back up again. Between the change in Caltrop and Necrotic Orb, we hope to see less of a disparity in performance between Stamina and Magicka DPS. We already see many stamina-based classes put in slightly ahead of the Magicka in single target, but are quite a bit behind in cleave areas, which most of the game requires between boss encounters and elite encounters in dungeons and trials. By reducing the boss's bonuses to Necrotic Orb has from being harder to use and improving one of the universally accessible stamina AoE dots, we hope to lessen the delta between the two in regards to damage dealing. So it's quite easy to slap on an Undaunted skill on a Magicka DPS. Using the Assault ones for stamina was kind of, fuck it, we'll use something else. Now that's more of an option. I mean, it's there anyway, but it's going to be a bit stronger, so you will get more from it. Champion point system. We're nearly there. We must be nearly there. In response to the feedback, there is still too much vertical progression in the champion point system. Of course it is, because we found out that regardless of the amount of choice you have, it was very, very easy to just take a linear approach and go, do you know what? That one, done. Slap it on every single build. Now they're altering it a little bit to give you more choice. Now, this will lower the vertical progression cap to 1560 rather than 2100 in Warfare Tree and 1626 rather than 2352 in the Fitness Tree. This will reduce the maximum power of the champion point system as well. You knew your damage was going to go down. You knew your overall was going to go down over time because we are still nuking the fuck out of content, but there were some things in the previous update that didn't quite come through properly because shit happened. There were bugs, but they have obviously brought this down over time. Now, this means also that this here, kind of capping out your character, can be done much, much earlier if you want to go for just one way or nothing. If you want to go glass cannon, you can do it much sooner. Would you recommend 511, 61, or 70? It's a very absolute way of looking at things. Especially if you're talking configuration for a Maggage DPS Templar. It's entirely up to you. It's about choice. It's about you understanding your passives and bonuses, and it also has to consolidate against your actual build. You can't just choose that for a class or role and have that across the board for everything and get the same results. It depends on how you build. But if you want to go more into that kind of stuff, I do have one-to-ones on Patreon. We can chat there for an hour about it and we can go nuts in it. Anyway, put off balance in the chat. There's a build there for the Templar. I go over some of that stuff in there as well. That's not to say it's the same for every Templar. Angler Instincts. Fix an issue where the effects of Artaeum, Pickled, Fish Broth, and Angler Instincts were not stacking. Now they are. More fish. Fix an issue where this star applied its effects once purchased, regardless of whether or not it was slotted. Awkward. Dose of paragraph, men. What does that paragraph mean? Spirit, you're going to have to try and keep up. I've got a lot to get through. I did explain it as well. Reworded the passive to better describe its actual behavior. So steadfast enchantment, by the way. It now states that each stage has a percentage chance to not consume the elemental charge when activating. Reduce the bonus to 10% per stage from 20, as the passive was not meant to invalidate the need for recharge enchantments, but rather effectively double their charge. So it's not never use a soul gem again. It's just not as often. Yeah, I know. The armpit buff got nuked. Reworded the passive to better describe its actual behavior. Now it states that each stage has a chance to not consume. So your charges, it's not they last 50% longer. It's every time you use a charge, it might not consume it. But we know it's going to happen over time. Sorry to say that ESO is a joke already. They never know what they're doing and like doing anything mindful other than adding new broken systems to the game. That is incredibly inaccurate, really, really unhelpful and not useful while I'm trying to read out stuff that is in testing. Please leave the whinging out. I don't have time for it. Go and complain to Zos. Every single patch, we've got people complaining about stuff that hasn't been tested, that they have no experience in, and unfortunately, it just makes people feel bad. Test it. Go see what you think about it. Give Zos feedback. Don't use streamers as a scapegoat just because you don't have the balls to go and speak to the man in charge. Anyway, fitness. The following stars have gone down to 2 stages from 4, so they are less effective than they were. Bash and Brutality, Defiance, Hasty, Heroes, Vigor, Sprinter, Tireless Guardian. All of these have been reduced in their stages and, well, output. That was inappropriate. Yeah, it was. It was not necessary. I don't need to sit there arguing with people that can't be bothered to understand that stuff is in testing at the moment and things will change. It's an MMORPG. Things change over time. Honestly, it just go and test it or see what happens. I'll never have enough soul gems now. I know. Following stars have down to 2 stages found from 3. So Tumbling, Savage Defense, and Fortification. The following stars have gone down by 2 from 5, which is Nimble Protector and Tempered Soul. So all of these have been reduced, which means also you can actually max them out for whatever they may be earlier. And that's what this meant up here. Where the fuck has it gone? This is when you can kind of optimize whatever the fuck it is that you want from some of the champion points instead of this. And for other trees, it's this instead of this. So 1,626 to finish out the fitness tree for what you want, like flat passives and shit, rather than 2, 3, 5, 2. So 4 slottables plus your passives much earlier on, meaning that players don't have to grind all the way up to fuck knows what to be optimal in other people's eyes. You can do this much, much earlier anyway. I've been doing Maelstrom on live stream with no champion points whatsoever. You've seen me prove that you don't need those because of the flat bonuses. But now if you are going to scratch that itch and you want to be as optimal glass cannon wise as you can just based on passives alone with your slottables or tank or healer or whatever it is you're going for, you now don't need as many points. But that does mean that you've got more room for extra slottables if you ever want to swap them out. Excuse me. We need to go back to where we were. Warfare. Added 6 new stars. See, this is why also. Balance, people. Balance is a word that makes sense if you know how to understand what it's meant to do. Or meant to be. Or all that good stuff. I can't even understand my own words. We're fucked. Let's delete the stream. This has gone down. Your requirement for maximum passives in your champion points has gone down. But the extra points can be used for other choices. Mess from Trifecta, no CP. I did. Words are hard. Thank you very much for the sub. Massively appreciated. Bit of cake in the chat. You're a legend. So, in some cases, returning ones. Yes, I've seen these already. No, we weren't allowed to talk about it. Now I can. However, that was a previous build, an older one, so we'll see. In this constellation, 4 of which are new and final sub-constellations. Final sub-constellations. Mastered Curation. Note that these are all slotted stars. So, we've got this one here. Overhealing yourself or an ally grants them health, magicka, and stamina recovery equal to 0.5% of their maximum magicka, of your maximum magicka, sorry, for 6 seconds. So the higher your magicka, the more recovery you give them for overhealing people. You know when people sit there and go, yeah, your healer's overkill, bro. First of all, you're obnoxious fuck. You don't know what you're talking about. Secondly, you're fucking rewarded for it. So if you're healing that well that you can overheal people, you give them recovery. I think people might want recovery and to stay alive. But it can cap up to 150. That's quite a substantial amount when you add all the rest of the recovery you might have, because you've got to consider multiplied effects on top of that, because it's not just 150 on top of what you have. They do stack up quite a lot once you get to the kind of higher end of it. This effect can occur once every 12 seconds per target, and it's worth 50 points. So for 6 seconds, you get 150 recovery, which is mental. This going on YouTube, I've just caught this here. Yes, of course it is. It'll go up after 24 hours from the stream, because there's rules for Twitch and stuff. From the brink, healing yourself or a target under 25% health grants them a damage shield that absorbs 2200 damage per stage for 6 seconds, with a 30-second cooldown per target. It's not the overall cooldown, per target. There are 5 stages, maxing this out, and 10 points per stage. So 5 stages will put this to over 10k, or 11k in fact, 11k flat. Which means that's a fucking huge damage shield, just for healing someone who's in trouble. There's sets for that shit. Now it's built in as a bonus. That was stacked with spell power, yes. Overheal, is that like healing someone when they're max health? Correct, that's exactly what it is. Or like when a heal jumps past max health. Same thing. They're both the same thing, Ice. Or like if the heal jumps past. So overhealing is when you heal them successfully over 100%. So any heals over 100%. Are these slottables? Yes, they are. Also, Hope Infusion. Healing yourself or an ally under 50% grants them minor heroism. Duration is based on your magicka recovery, granting 1 second for every 300 recovery. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds per target and requires 50 points. So, again, I mean, you can stack for recovery to give other people recovery. You can heal them when they're low to give them extra recovery on top of that. You can overheal them when they're high to give them all these different bonuses. So high, extra recovery, sorry. Low, extra damage shield. Low-ish, again, more recovery for you means more heroism for them. It's fucking cool that they've added these for healers. Thank you, sorry if it's confusing. It's not confusing. You just asked the same thing kind of twice. I know what you mean, though. Master at Arms is back. Increases your damage done with direct damage attacks by 2% per stage. So 10% overall, maxing it out. And that will also have 5 stages of 10 points. Salve of Renewal. When you remove a negative effect from yourself or an ally, you heal them and allies within the 8-meter radius of them for 1280 health per stage. And there are 5 stages. So that's quite a substantial increase as well. Big heals there every single time that happens. And notice there is no cooldown. So you just have to keep curing people. And Weapons Expert. I can see people going, Easy Sork. Yes, I've already tested it. But that was on an early build. Increases your damage done with light and heavy attacks by 3% per stage. Maxing out at 5 stages. 15% increase to lights and heavies. So you've got two very important ones here and here that were once upon a time in the champion point systems for direct damage and for lights and heavies that we don't currently have. So now instead of the 4 major slottables, you know, kind of AoE, single target, damage over time, and crit, now you're going to have to sacrifice some stuff if you want to use these. Twin Blade and Blunt passive, you don't need to type the... You don't need to type the entire thing in the chat, Daniel. I am going through a lot of information here, but I did go over that stuff already. I'm not going to keep rolling back on things because I'm trying to go forwards. But, am I misunderstanding it? No, you're not misunderstanding it. That is written pretty clear. Used to be 4% maximum, now it's 6%. Kaif, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Make fun modern weapons? Yeah, indeed. But it always was. You always had that bonus to lights and heavies. Well, light attacks, actually. Thank you for the follows. It's broken? Indeed. The following stars have gone down to 2 stages from 4. So, Preparation, Precision, Pearson, Hardy, Elemental Defender, Eldritch Insight, and Blessed. So, your healing done, your damage taken, and all that kind of stuff. These have all been altered so that they require less points to max, but you won't get the same amount out of them anymore. They have been reduced, which makes it more important for you to have an active healer. And as you can see here, with these 4 major slottables that they gave us, outside of Master at Arms and Weapons Expert, now means that healers have some very unique buffs and bonuses that they can bring to keep you alive and keep your recovery up, rather than just, here's a breath of life, suck it up. They've made it kind of different in the way that you would build healers to allow you some choices for your role rather than just heal, heal, heal. You could still play the same way, but you've got different effects. New Mythics look sick. Yes, they do. But I've already gone past those, so we're going to keep going forwards. Daily aim Master at Arms will combo well. If you are doing single target damage and it's direct, yes. If you're doing single target damage and it's not direct, so it's just a dot, then no. That would be Thaumaturge instead. You would have to figure that out with your builds once we get there. Is it melting your brain? I pick it up while reading it and have to explain it to you. How do you think I feel? Also, yeah, I knew some of it, but whatever. Also increase the effectiveness of this passive by 5% per stage, up from 2% to make the mitigation loss in PvP. So, PvE, sorry. So some of them have been slightly altered a little bit. Do these changes mean you'll have to update your 2.0 builds? It will mean some of them will need updating, yeah. It doesn't mean I have to do every single one of them, because maybe some of them are still fine. But you will have to wait and see for that, because this is not live, it's not real. Anything you're seeing now is literally just, this is what we're going to test. The next 4 or 5 weeks or so, it's constant testing, constant changing. Nothing is real yet. What else have we got? Read that one already. Quick Recovery's gone down. Tireless Disciple's gone down. Occult Overload. Fix an issue where this start would fail to proc if the kill and blow was obtained from an instantaneous damage status effect, such as Sundered. Now, itemization and item sets. Fixed numerous issues where dealing damage with a set against a target damage shield would not proc events based off of the damage done, such as Crimson Twilight, Ring of the Pale Orders, healing. So those 2 issues, if you hit a damage shield, would be a problem. So you wouldn't heal if you hit someone in a damage shield, or if you hit someone with this, it wouldn't fire and do stuff and heal you back. Updated several item sets to state they require melee damage to better describe their requirements. Martial melee damage used to detonate attacks that deal physical, bleed, poison, or disease damage in melee range. Magical melee damage used to detonate attacks that deal magical, flame, frost, or shock damage in melee range. And melee damage, any attack that requires less than 7 meters. So I've said this before many times, including that noble fucking duelist set that most people keep trying to slap on easy sword, which fails so hard because no one's ever that close. 5-piece bonus you're never getting. This here, melee damage is 7 meters or below. The 7 meter part is usually for DK because they have the bonus to 7 meters instead of 5. But basically 7 and under. For some it's 5. Magical melee is for things that detonate off of spell type stuff. And melee is for physical type stuff. So an example there is there's a set... what the fuck is it called? Destructive Mage from the Craglorn Trials. If you heavy attack with it, and it will set a detonating attack on the target. That's with specific type of damage types that will do it. So you've got your heavy attack, but some sets have if you damage with X, Y, and Z skill. Now that is much, much clearer. So if it's a magical effect, it requires a magical melee. If it's a physical effect, it requires a physical melee. Is it going to change? It might be used one. If it is a change, it might be just one slottable, but yeah, release is not for a few weeks, so it will change. It's not even as simple as that. It might be one thing, it might be 10 things. We don't know yet. Gotta go, but just before I do, I want to say thank you for going through all this and explaining everything. You, sir, are a true legend. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. So much to go through. The following sets now proc off any melee damage rather than only martial. Deathwind. Oh, I fucking love Deathwind. Deathwind is basically a crafted set, 2-piece crafted. You can get it from Oridon or any of the starting areas. And if you get hit with melee damage, once you're underneath a certain amount of health, you knock everyone flying. Now it's any melee damage. So if someone runs up to you with puncture and sweeps, jab, 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 that will pop. Dragon's Defilement and Night Terror. Item sets that proc events that deal damage or heal now scale similarly to your abilities based on specific stats. This is massive, by the way, which will now be called out in the tooltip. So these sets will have their alterations written down so you can read them. Check each section to see which sets scale with what. That's right. Procs now are considered, depending on what they are, scaled off of certain resources rather than just here's some damage, go use it. The following scaling methods are currently available, which may expand or change in the future. Read that bit very carefully. Could change. Damage, especially in an arena with lava. We're getting there. Damage focused proc sets events will scale with the higher of your weapon or spell damage. So any set that does do damage in a proc will be scaled off of your highest offensive weapon type. So your spell damage or your weapon damage. So that means stuff like Unfathomable Darkness and shit like that. It has a flat bonus. Vulcan's Scoria, for example, stuff like that has generally a flat bonus. We're going to go over specific sets and all the rest of it. This is just an example. But now it's a case of whichever one of your resources is higher, it will fire off. It's not a case of here's a flat bonus that you can just put on a tank, which works. Clearance, yes, we could be here all day. There's 500 sets in the game plus. Talking about Deathwind? Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to keep up, dude. But yes, it's really fun. Where the fuck did I get to? Damage-focused proc-based events will scale with the higher of the two. Yes, we got there. You must have, listen very carefully, you must have 5, 4, 7, 8 weapon or spell damage to reach the original value of many sets. Venomous Smite. Spirit? Yes. We are going to be here for a very long time if people keep putting individual sets in the game about this change. This is across the board. There are over 500 sets in the game and it's constantly growing. I'm trying to make this as quick and painless as possible. Keep up. Healing focus-based proc events will scale off the height of your magical or stamina. So heals, magic and stamina. Damage, weapon damage and spell damage. Okay? Now, you must have 38,350 max magical or stamina to reach the original value of the sets. So this is telling you that everything you know now from a proc set, its base value that you know it to be now, in order to achieve that number, this is what you need. But you can go up. Yes, it can go higher. Tanking focused proc sets events will either scale with your max health, and in some rare cases, will use the higher of your physical or spell resistance. So the tankier you are, the stronger it is. Now, you need 38,350 max health or 27,890 physical spell and physical and spell resistance to reach their original value. So if you pen cap, so you get 33,000, whatever the flat value of the set was before, you're now stronger. Yes, on the preview, it was an older build. This was present. How that affects the actual PTS itself right now may be different. But in testing, yes, this did buff the fuck out of Leechin if you went for a heavy, high health version of Immortal Warrior. You could actually get flat bonuses on a tooltip. You could get just short of 2k every single tick. Whereas at the moment, it's not. So that's just a prime example of how that works. Also, other sets like Reliquin and all the rest of it. Reliquin scales off of your maximum weapon damage or spell damage. Yes, I said or. You keeping up? Now, we're not going to go over specific sets because they are listed here. We're going to get there. If we go, what about this set? What about this set? I'm going to be here till like fucking 10 o'clock tomorrow. James, thank you very much indeed for the bits. Massively appreciate it, of course. You've got so many fucking bits, dude. 123,000. You're nuts. The following sets now scale off weapon and spell damage, whichever is highest. Friendly momentum damage, merciless charge damage, wild impulse damage, wrath of elements damage. So these two here are actually on Nature's Bounty. Don't worry, we've still got this covered. This effect can now also be purged. So if you're in PvP and you're getting hit by these abilities that come from weapon abilities by proccing them, you can now cleanse it. So you won't be stuck with that fucking dot on you all the time just because someone procced it. Later. We're not going to go over PvP stuff too much because obviously there's still testing going on. The following set now scales off max health. Puncturant Remedy. These are weapon abilities, by the way, if you haven't figured that out already. So your Master's Weapon from the Sword and Board, that scales off of your maximum health. So the higher the health, the stronger it is. You now build your character's flat stats around your procs rather than slapping a proc on anything. That's how they beat the fucking power creep or free fucking damage from all these different procs. You are now in control of it. If you don't hit the base stat, it's going to be weaker than it was before. If you go over the base stat, you pack an extra punch. Crafted sets. Ashen Grip. Scales off your highest. Cold Harbor's Favorite. Legacy of... where the fuck has it gone? Legacy of Calves. McColden. McColden now has actually a boost if you spec for it. Oblivion's Foe. Song of Lame. Following set scale off max magicka or stamina. So healer sets do this. Cold Harbor's Favorite. Healing. Because that is a different proc. Dragon's Appetite Healing. Stacks from the set are now half a second cooldown instead of 1. And the heal is now 5 seconds cooldown instead of 10. So that's actually a bit of a buff. Nocturnal's Favor. Healing. Redistributor. Shadow's Curse. Vampire's Kiss. This scales off max health. Noble's Conquest Healing. Gravestake instead of magicka and stamina granted from the set. Given 4, 5, 6, 2. Up from 4, 190. So that got a buff as well. Vampire's Kiss has been reworked, so we've got a stamina bonus, a magicka bonus, mag and stam again, so kind of hybrid DPS if you want, or just some stats. And the 5-piece is weapon and spell damage, in addition to its kill on healing, which will receive a significant increase. So you've got extra for killing shit. Willow's Path, reduce the set bonus to health, magicka and stamina, recovery to 18% from 25%. Fair enough. McColden and Rothgar set. Yes, it is, with the swinging sword. The original set value info is quite a bit confusing. No, it's not. Thank you very much. Setting to the original set value is not confusing. Basically, anything you know of so far, the values for... Wow! Thank you very much indeed. Massively appreciated. Beer and Cake in the chat. You are legends. And we have a Dragonborn. Thank you very much. You know the rules, people. The fight starts again from scratch. If you kill the Dragonborn, you'll take the place to stream. I have to kill you instead. The hype train has started. We hit hype train level 5 earlier. I'm not expecting that to go up twice, but I'm going to say go for it if you want to. Thank you for the bit, Spirit. So basically, any sets you know of already, right? You can go to ESO Hub, which is run by Wooler, and also helped by Alcast as well occasionally, depending on what he does in there. I'm not sure, but I know it's definitely Wooler's anyway. Both of them work together, whatever. Go watch that. Go to that particular website. Any sets on there right now that are a proc, those are the current base values. So use that as a gauge for now until stuff changes, because obviously once this does change, you can forget history. But that's the flat stat value you're looking at if you can reach those parameters. DJ, thank you very much. Beer and Cake in the chat, you are a fucking legend, dude. Now up to 93 gifted subs to the channel. Dragonborn fucking down. Again, ESO Hub. Look it up on Google. Make sure you give Wheeler a follow on Twitter as well, because he fucking deserves it. He's put a lot of work into that stuff. Give Outcast one as well. But if you check those stats now, that's what you're looking at. Yes! Fuck, I've got to press it again. DJ and Claw, thank you very, very much indeed. Massively... I can't do words. I can't even do it. I can't keep up. DJ, thank you very much. News on the PTS release. This is what we're going over. Excuse me, I have wind. Anyway, let's repeat what I said. ESO Hub. Go check it out. Any sets on there that are proc sets, those are the base values. That's what you can aim towards if you have these set in stone parameters in place. So weapon damage, spell damage, stamina, magicka, health, whatever. After that, you can enhance it. Before that, it'll be weaker. So if you want it to work exactly the same, these are the numbers you're going to have to hit. You might want to take this link here, because I'm going to put it in the chat. It's in the description if you're watching this on YouTube tomorrow. Use that. Shady, thank you very much. What a fucking legend. Englishman who can't speak English is going on here. Yeah, I know. This does open up a lot of opportunities. It balances procs and also allows you to build for certain purposes. So, going to be interesting. So I like the change. We are going to have a rebuild every character every time the sets is changing in the future. That's my concern. Well, it's an MMO. Things change all the time. The trick is to adapt and keep up and keep it fresh. If you try and obsess too much on every single character, making it perfect every single patch, then unfortunately you are going to fall behind. It's built on the foundation of choice, and it is a choice whether you want to go heavily into lots of characters or just one. I would probably focus on just a few, so it's not too many. Drunk side. With 2 beers, yeah, good luck with that. Well, one and like a sip. This is to extend the life of the game by constantly keeping it updated, by constantly allowing for adaptation, and constantly sticking to the game's base design, which is play your own way. Legend Uncensored stream, so I know Dillygaff, dude. My new stream watch. Nice! If anyone don't know what Dillygaff is I don't give... do I look like I give a fuck? Also, Google, do I look like I give a fuck? Kevin Bloody Wilson. You will love it. Thank you very much. Now, other sets. Oh, we've got Dragonborn. I'm going to press this first, then I'm going to read the other sets. Dragonborn. Yes. You know the rules, people. The fight sets again from scratch. If you kill their Dragonborn, you'll take their place to stream. I'll have to kill you instead. ESO is built on the foundation of choice. Any class, any race, any role. Every single time someone tries to pigeonhole that into a corner where it's like, you have to do this or else, Zos will fucking change it because that's their design. They want you to have as much freedom, good word there, Zebra, of choice as possible, and they are adapting things very fucking clever along the way to make sure that's consistently a thing. Have you tried Elegant? Fucking memes. How much did I miss? Hello? You missed a lot, VX. I'm not going to go over it again. You'll have to rewind it later. But, Dungeon and Arena sets. Aegis Caller. Auroran Thunder. Azure Blight. Kalurians. Curse of Domesh. And Flame Blossom. Bear in mind again, what this also has in place as opportunity for you as players is... Before, you might have gone, well, that proc is shit compared to this proc because they're flat damage. Now you can push it up or down. So... Auroran Thunder, for example, that's been used on off balance for a while. Maybe you didn't like the strength of the proc. Maybe you wanted it to be stronger. I've got 7k weapon damage, but the proc sucks. If you've got 7k fucking weapon damage or spell damage, this is now stronger. You upgraded what you already have. Or you can make it weaker, whatever. I appreciate how Zots keeps older content and sets competitive. Oh, fuck yeah, it's really good. Heavy attack build is back, Pog. They never left all these it's back stuff. I love it how people like to try and keep up to date like it's League of Legends and things go out and come in and go out and come in. They're always there. It just depends on whether you want to use it or not. Is there a blight? Yeah, you can boost it. You can boost it with actual flat damage. So if you build for spell damage or weapon damage, that's higher. It's fucking mental. You're going to have to look into ways to get weapon and spell damage in Ancient Bounty build. In Overdrive, you're going to have to wait until they release the build when it actually goes live. You're trying to get too far ahead. Aegis Caller based on spell dam. Whoa. Misread that completely. A summoner sets for Magsork. We've got those already. Is these the patch notes? Yes, the patch notes is literally the title of the stream. Anyway, more stuff because otherwise we're going to run out of time. Thank you for the sub. So, Icy Conjurer, Overwhelming, Pestilent Host, Pillars of Nirn, Plague Slinger even. This also does bleed damage on initial hit rather than physical, which is quite nice. And also, players... Fixing an issue where multiple players could not use this set against the same target. Okay, fair. So, if one person used it, someone else couldn't. But now that's fixed, which is handy. Hype Train is finished. Level 1 emotes. Enjoy. Plague Slinger, Savage Werewolf, Scavenging Demise, Sheer Venom, and Sunder Flame are all going to apply a bleed damage on the initial hit rather than physical. Scaling off the same stuff, by the way. This set now ticks every 2 seconds instead of 1. So Ice Furnace, Unleashed Terror, and this set also procs off blinks such as Bolt Escape. So Viper's Sting, Widowmaker, and Winterborns all can proc off of blink abilities. The following sets now scale off your max magicka or stamina, whichever's highest. This will be healing stuff. Drogger's Rest every 2 seconds instead of every 1, so less callback to the server. Heaties every 2 instead of 1, same applies. And Oblivion's Edge Heal. And also the following sets now scale off your max health. Crimson Twilight, you did ask, yes it does. Frozen Watcher, higher damage for higher health. And Leech and Plate, and like I said at the beginning of this section, yes, I have already tested that on the preview server. Whether it comes out the same stat-wise or not on the PTS, we'll have to wait and see. But that was stronger. If you pack for really high health on Almost Immortal Warrior, that was fucking insane. So I love filling up Sticker Book, of course. The following scale off your physical and spell resistance, whichever's higher. Remember the 20, was it 27 or 29? Go up. 27.8. 27.8 resistances. You're going to cap out at 33% anyway. 33k, sorry, which is 50%. If you do that, then these will be stronger. Ember Shield, Explosive, how would the fuck you say that? Rebuki? I don't know how to pronounce it. Whatever. It's going to be a grammar Nazi somewhere in the chat telling me how to pronounce it by spelling it again in front of me and making me reread it. Kind of surprised to change the Kinraz. I'm not. Don't get ahead of me. We're getting there. Hand of Mafala's damage. Amber Plasm reduced the health, magic, and stamina recovery granted from this set to 245 down from 275. That is actually a substantial alteration. It looks like 30 on its own. But once you have stack and bonuses for health recovery, mag recovery, stamina recovery, whatever, those percentage bonuses that lay on top of that do actually boost this by a fuck ton. So that's still a lot, but it's been reduced quite massively overall once you put everything together. McAdoo, you were predictable as fuck. Increase the base crit damage and healing done from this set from 8 up from 6, which is quite nice because Archer's Mind is too low. Increase the bonus of sneaking or invisible for 16% up from 12. So this is a bit more entertaining now. Might actually use that a bit more. Used it in the past, it was meh. Tiny boost to it, sure, why not? Blood Drink can reduce the damage bonus from this set to 20% down from 33. Now that more abilities deal bleed damage, introducing non-damage over time attacks. So there are bleeds that do single hits. That's why most people got confused with Crimson. It doesn't apply damage over time. Bleed is not just damage over time. Bleed goes under shields and shit. There are lots and lots of different versions of that now, especially since some of the physical damage over time or initial hits from the dual wield and all that kind of stuff now count as bleeds. This set had to be reduced because instead of just, here's a bleed from a proc set, here's a bleed from a skill, now you've got a fuck ton of them. So balance-wise, it's probably going to end up roughly the same eventually, depending on how you build, but they had to bring that down because there's more things that can do it. Thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Bone Pirate, please bring this down. Think fuck for that. It's still going to be a fuck ton, though. I mean, yeah, we've lost like 30, 34 on that, which is on its own not that much. But if you're stacking loads of recovery anyway, it's a big drop, but it's still quite high. I think it's... yeah, still high. You said it in our screens. I knew it. So damage sets are based off weapon and spell damage, and healer sets are based off of max stats, making sure I'm keeping up. Technically. So healer, max stat, max magicka. Tanky stuff, health, physical, or spell resistance, depending on the set. And damage stuff, weapon or spell damage. Now, each individual tooltip will tell you what you need to have, but they're all changing. So this is how they managed to alter the power of procs. So removing them from PvP to start with for the test wasn't just about making them go away. It was about getting rid of all that fluff in their logs so they could see the base game stuff that's the problem. And at the same time, taking a bit of a backseat and just dealing with it under the bonnet to find out why are they so powerful and what can we do about it. And now it's not like, here's a tank with loads and loads of procs going off that kill people in the face in 1 second flat, and they didn't even spec for damage. Now, if you want them to be strong, you have to boost them. If you don't, then fucking don't. Fighting players with full procs and Malabes while you're in heavy armor was annoying. Well, again, you can still build for stuff, but you have to customize your playstyle and your character to be able to utilize them effectively. And there is, like I said, a base cap before you even get the basic damage. So Legion, for example, is on a 60k health tank on the preview server was around 2k a tick, which is fucking insane. That was stupidly high in comparison to the original Almost Immortal Warrior, which is nice because it's a tank and it's building off a tank set. But if you put it on a DPS, it was only hitting about 600, so you couldn't still get that 1.2 to 1.5k heal a second. You get much, much less. On the live servers now, it's broken as fuck. On here, it balances depending on how you set yourself up. Where's the trade-off? I literally just explained it. Let's go into this more. Elemental Catalyst increased the set's critical damage taken to 5% up from 3, so that set did get a substantial boost. Holofang has been reduced. It does no longer give you 2.5 every time it procs. It gives you 1.7 instead. However, bear in mind there is a node in the champion point system now where you can actually get recovery back to your group if you overheal them, which will actually close the gap anyway. Nova tried to slow down a little bit. I am trying to go really far into this. I can't read really, really big messages, especially even if you split them up into two, because that's technically a really long message. But let me catch up with that. Also, like that there's more opportunity cost. If you stack crit, you may have some awesome numbers, but if you are also counting on the set proc damage, that would be weaker. So you can build for power and then get sets hitting hard. Yeah, I'm literally explaining what you're writing. But yeah, you're going to have to let me go a bit further. Thank you for taking the time to explain examples. You're welcome. You point out so many things that would have never crossed my mind. That's because of, not necessarily you personally or anyone in the chat, but there are lots of people out there that will sit there and shout one way or no way, oh my god, it's nerfed, oh my god, the game's fucked, blah, 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 blah. Always consider from a developer's perspective why they're doing what they're doing and what you could possibly do with the change. Because it's not just have less damage, fuck off. It's now you have some options. Always look at things like this. Instead of deciding, well, that's fucked, decide what you can now do with your build because of the changes. Changing stuff every 3 months or so keeps it very, very fresh. Because the people that sit there and do the same stuff every single fucking day get bored. They complain, they want changes. You get changes, they complain that they change the stuff. What can you fucking do? Keeping it fresh is very, very helpful. It keeps the game fucking growing. They're constantly getting new people playing all the time. And this kind of stuff, it encourages players that are already playing to explore more things. And it also allows for stuff that might not even be used at the moment to actually have a place. Thank you, Master Zion. You're welcome. In your opinion, all these changes more of a class balance move by Zos. This is not class related. This is set related. Class stuff is different, but they did do some class stuff as well. Minimal stuff. They did a lot of class stuff in the past. Okay, so Kaglan's Howl fixed an issue where this set did not proc on shared kills, which it should do. Lich has had its recovery pushed up to 1106, up from 132. Excuse me. Again, this is not far short of 70 recovery extra, which if you stack multiple bonuses is fucking huge. So Lich just got boosted to crap and back. It looks like a low bonus, but recovery does stack. Replayability is never a bad thing. Not at all. Most MMOs fail there. They just add an expansion pack, add some more levels, add an extra boss, complete it, and then complain you've got nothing to do. This is for everyone. Monster Masks. Dominant House damage is now increased by the highest value, of course. Grofdar can be boosted by the highest value. Ice Heart, Lambris. This set procs both lightning and fire at once rather than one or the other. The damage has been adjusted for this. So, the damage for Lambris has been altered per proc, but now it's back to both at the same time. How fucking cool is that? Lightning and fire. Haha. Infernal Guardian's damage has been boosted by weapon and spell damage, so if you have high weapon and spell damage and you're stacking damage shields, your damage shields obviously can be quite nice, but you're going to be hitting them with really hard projectiles. Thank you for the host. Can't pronounce that one. You watch my Lich build. I don't know how the fuck to pronounce that. Boosted. Krogs. This set now lasts 2.4 seconds instead of 1.2. Increase the cooldown to 6 seconds, up from 3. That was a very, very fast-paced, consistent proc. If lots and lots of people are using that, I don't doubt that's going to call back loads of shit on the server to make it fucking crash. So that's valid. But again, you can stack it based on weapon or spell damage. Merv Inferno. The breath now lasts 3 seconds, up from 2. But the ticks are every 1 second instead of 0.5. So overall, the damage should be about the same because it's a flat bonus, which means you can't crit or not crit the 0.5. So the flat bonus, if it's consolidated, will be exactly the same damage. However, the 3 seconds of it might be a bit altered. That should be a little bit less overall. This per tick doubled up on this 1 second would be the same, but if it was doing 2, that's 4 ticks, and now we're actually technically getting 3. That's up. Let's forget it. That's up every 1 second. Nice. So before it was 4 ticks, it's now 3 ticks of 6 worth, basically. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, it's more. Narayanev, Selene's, Celestrix. Also, by the way, this does benefit from spell damage, but it also does benefit from the Ritualist, because it's a pet. That's when it gets tricky. If you stack really fucking high spell damage, the Ritualist set has nothing but Magicka, so you might be missing a set to boost it. But at the same time, If you take off a spell damage set and put Ritualist on, you boosted the pet and leveled out a little bit for the pet procs. So you'd have to test that as to find out which way to balance that. Is it better to have the 16% increase plus a nice spell damage bonus, or is it better to have 2 spell damage bonuses? Player testable. Thank you for the follow. Celestrix, Swan of Mephala, Stonehusk, Stormfist, Valken, Scoria. Murder of Fire loves that. High weapon damage equals bigger proc. Thank you very much. Veladref, Zahn is based off of spell damage as well. You're going to see people using actually a very high combination of stuff. Probably the duplicate in the Lich build to some extent, using Skaven Mage and Sorora at the same time. Also, that's on burn as well to get the most out of Zahn. I think you're going to see a lot of that. Love Jeff when I'm tanking. Jeff is awesome. So now be stronger proc sets and stronger overall stats. Everyone focus on max stats, contribute to variety. If you build that way. If you don't, then no. It's risk for reward. You stack one way or the other, or don't. These will be increased by max magical or stamina. So stam healer or mag healer, choke fawn, earth core, night flame, or boosted, or reduced. See, this is something you have to consider. These are not all buffs to sets off the cuff. They're buffs to sets if you build for them. But if you build for a certain proc to be stronger, you might be sacrificing your overall in order to do that. Also, what you have to consider is if you don't build for them, your procs will be less effective, which means they're weaker than their flat bonuses now. So it's very easy to put Zahn on a tank, run up and light attack someone, and then it just fucking nukes them. Now, if you're built to be a tank, you got no weapon or spell damage, and Zahn goes off, you're going to hit like a wet fucking noodle. So that's the difference. Will there be a Twitch drops later? I saw something about it. If they're live, they're live. You'll see them. If not, go to elderscrollsonline.com and they show you when all the timers are for Twitch drops there. Now, the following set scale of max health. Lady Thorn, Scavenger, fucking Malabeth, basically, is stronger with max health. Shadowrend and Fervicon. So if you want to do loads of damage with Fervicon plus the debuffs, stack health. The following sets scale off your physical and spell resistance, whichever one's higher. So you've got Tremor Scale. Also Masterlock. This set now procs off of your melee heavy attacks rather than bashes. Increase the cooldown to 10 seconds, up from 7. Reduce the bonus scaling per negative to 2% from 5. And remove the cap of 50. So, no cap. This set now scales off your weapon damage. So the higher the weapon damage, the stronger the skill. The more debuffs, the fucking better. And if you heavy attack, you'll get the bonus, not just if you bash. So this was obviously being, I don't want to use the word abused, but used a lot by tanks. And its intention was to be more DPS based. So if you do heavy attack as a tank, I mean, you're still going to benefit from it. But you're not going to have the weapon and spell damage to increase the strength. So again, another PvP scale or PvE scale where the tank won't be getting max out of this, whereas a DPS will. Mythics. Bloodlord's Embrace. Increase the magicka granted from this set. Oh my god. Fucking buffed. Immortal Warrior is going to be so fucking strong. From the word go, I've built that to be a very strong tank because I look at the game from a design perspective and make a big chunky tank makes sense. And every single fucking patch is getting boosted. Please do not remove this when it goes live. That is already so fucking strong, but it's really cool. This set now increases the damage done by 16% and reduces your critical damage by 50%, rather than increasing your damage done by 25% and unable to crit damage. So, Malakavs still does a substantial amount of damage. Thank you for the follow. But you can crit. That... Okay. You don't get to see all the testing that I do because it's tied to Patreon and most stuff doesn't get shown anyway. Have I tried using Malakath on a lot of my builds without packing into crit? Yes. Were they effective? Meh. Were they close to them? No, not even fucking close. Because it was too much flat, not enough crit. Crit ended up overperforming in PvE regardless. Some flat is nice, but just flat is shit. This increasing your flat damage by 16%, but allowing your crit damage to still be available, turns it into something slightly different. That turns into a flat build with the chance of having a little bit of crit if you have it, which means your procs can go up and you can still benefit from your skills. That's going to take some testing, but that opens up a lot of different options. Joined late, but got to ask, Nature's Bounty nerf? No. Anything as flat and absolute as that is not accurate at all. Patience. With Proxic nerf, lowest stamina on the build, hope it's not copy bounty on the left is everybody. Be patient, wait for it to go live. We'll see. Stuff like that, you're not going to get information anywhere. Remember when I say no spoilers about my builds? First of all, let's test it first. Secondly, wait until it's out. We won't be skipping any Patreon perks by me telling you what I intend to do with them. And we're just going over the patch notes with possibilities. Ring of the Pale Order. Increase the amount of healing done for this set by 20%. Fucking hell. Of your damage done by up from 18. So they boosted that. This set now loses 4% of its value per group member you are with. This means if you are alone, you will stay at 20%, but reduce to 8% if you're in a group with 3 other people, and 0% with 5 or more players. Remove the heal cap from this set. So there's no heal cap. It is scaled off of your damage done, so it's basically crit surge, but with no fucking set value. And it loses the value the bigger group you're in. That's fucking nuts. That's a big solo buff. Really big. If there's no cap on it, and you start hitting like fucking 40, 50, 60k fucking individual hits, especially at executes and stuff like that, you're not going to die. That's mad. Big heavy attack. 40k heavy attack per tick. Big heal. No more tank 3DD in the dungeon. Indeed. The following... So you like can no longer do VBRP with 3 DPS rocking and ring in a Pale Order. That's the idea. Guys, isn't Bethesda official stream today? Maybe. Bethesda stream lots of different days. If you want to go watch another stream, you're more than welcome to. Companions count as group members. Yes, they do. So if you use Pale Order plus a companion... Oops. That's hilarious. It is. Again, balance. They can see what people do. They know players are clever. They will alleviate some of this stuff if it becomes too strong. If there's a one way or no way, which there isn't, that's not the design. If something becomes way too popular and people don't explore choices, they'll fix shit. They know what they're doing. They're very fucking clever. Don't want people to run ring in trials. Well, yeah, there is that too. The following sets now scale off weapon and spell damage, whichever is higher. Defilers, Mad Tinkerer, Night Terror, Red Mountain. Oh yes, very nice. Storm Knight, Severe Scales, Thunderbugs, Twin Sisters, Unfathomable Darkness, and Venomous Smite. Damage is now every 2 seconds instead of 1, and Way of Fire damage is also affected. This set's now follow off of Max Magicka and Stamina, so these are healing ones. Briarheart now actually scales off of healing, so Max Magicka or Stamina, the same sort of stats as healing sets. Vamp Toggle Deg, well, it's one of those things, isn't it? Drogo's Heritage, Trinimax Valor, Winter's Respite. The heal now ticks every 2 seconds instead of every 1, so it's not quite as in your face. Big heals, but not as often, so the healer needs to pay more attention. It's nice and Briarheart, yeah it is. People at 16% heal plus my companion can provide more healing anyway, plus companions won't come to VMA. Yes, but if you're out in the open and you've got Ring of the Pale Order on, your heal can't come from your companion because you can't be healed while you're using the set. And because you've got a companion in your group, it's now less effective, so although you're doing damage to heal yourself, you don't heal yourself as much. I guess it's time to make Murder Fire build. It was always time to make it. No, it's not new. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. So even the weapon damage from Briarheart increases maximum stamina. Increases with maximum stamina. Yes, because it's got a weapon damage bonus, but it's not a proc damage bonus. It's not something that hits somebody else. It's something that affects you. It heals you. So it's effectively a set to scale off of healing bonuses. Now, Bahara's Curse scales off of max health. Grace of Glooms scales off of max health, and the following sets scale off of resistances. So Moira House finally has a benefit. Now, before, of course, it did have a benefit. You can just dodge roll through people and knock them down like they're Skittles. But the damage was so shit. Now you can enhance the damage by being a big, chunky bowling ball. My companion won't be able to heal you. Yep. Bloodthorns reduce the magicka and stamina gain from this set to 800 down from 958. That actually was a very, very fucking high recovery set. It was every 5 seconds as well. That was substantial. Bright... I can never say this properly. Say this 10 times really quick, by the way. Bright Throat Boast. Say it really fast 10 times. If you mess it up, you got to drink a beer. Reduce the magical recovery granted to 133 down from 167, which is the same as the Bone Pirate. So the magical version of that is still... It's still a fucking lot. It's not a big drop for most people. It is substantial, but this is still fucking high when you start scaling it. I mean, make Murder Fire again because I changed originally to Toxicity. Oh, I see. Eternal Vigor. This set no longer grants a line to max health when wearing 5 pieces. A line. Oh, okay. So you don't have the extra health bonus. And Princess Rags increase the magicka granted from this set to 135, up from 943. Whatever's going on with this music? Let's start that again. There we go. More Elder Scrolls music. PvP sourced. The following sets now scale off your weapon damage or spell damage, whichever is higher. Afflictions damage, Galarian's Revenge, Phoenix, Vice Cannon, Vicious Death. So yes, PvP. Look at the patch notes. /Look, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. You missed all the good stuff. I've been explaining this really, really well. You would be proud. I did stuff and things. The following set now scales off your max magicka and stamina. So Almalexia's Mercy, which is a heal set. And max health again. Battalion's Defender, so the heal from that. Cyrodiil's Crest and Juggernaut. So the big heal that comes from that, instead of being really, really flat, is weak as shit if you're really, really low, and strong as fuck if you're really, really high. You have to build for these stats. If you don't build for the stat, you're not going to get the same benefit as everybody else did with the proc. So my internet has been down most of the afternoon, kind of freaking out. Don't fucking freak out. You got to watch the whole stream again now. So again, if anyone's just joined, the idea is, instead of having every single proc set exactly the same for every single person in the game, making them stupidly fucking strong regardless of how you build, now if you build for their strength, you will benefit. If you don't build for their strength, you'll still get the proc, but it'll be a lot weaker. Harbinger, reduce the damage scale on this from 5.1% of your max health proc down from 7. So that's been reduced a little bit, but if you stack fuck tons of health, then obviously that's going to make a difference anyway. Revenge Leech, increase the health, magicka, and stamina restored to 2772, up from 257. I mean, it's not recovery, it's actually restored, and it's got a cooldown, but that's still a fuck ton back. When this comes live server, will they allow sets in Cyrodiil again? Rich, you can answer that one. This is covering all that stuff, and it's already on the Cyrodiil stuff, and these are proc sets. So the Cyrodiil stuff is a test. It's not forever. The following sets now scale off your weapon and spell damage, whichever is higher. Reliquin, I said this earlier. Yes, it was in the preview. Yes, I'm sure things will change over time, as we know. Obviously, this is a new build for it. It's a different PTS, or a full PTS. But this was there, and it has come through so far. Reliquin scales in strength based on your weapon damage or spell damage. So if you are clever, and you can figure out a way to make a very nice, fun hybrid build that can utilize Reliquin, before you would have a flat bonus to it, which is quite nice. Now, if you spec into spell damage, who knows? Anyway, Destructive Mage, I went over this earlier actually. Fixed an issue where this set could not be purged, which now it can. Anything like that can be purged. Thank you for the link, much appreciated. Poisonous Serpent damage has been boosted based on weapon and spell damage. Alkosh is now based on that as well, but the ticks are every 2 seconds rather than every 1, and there is a cap for this one. As long as that came through. There isn't any notes on it, but on the preview that was capped. Maybe they changed it, who knows. The following sets now scale off your maximum magicka or stamina, whichever is higher. So Twilight, fucking brilliant, love that set. And the following sets now scale off your max health. Defending Warrior and Eternal Warrior's Healing. Overall, of all the things the backseat gamers could have fucking thunk of on the interwebs. Interwebs or internets? Which one should we use? Doesn't make a fucking difference. Anyway, all these fucking amazingly shit ideas that people could have decided was going to fix everything for them. This is a very fucking clever approach. Of all the things that you could have done, like nuke fucking proc sets, make them all weaker, like the typical fucking sledgehammer approach, wasn't necessary. Instead, they got a very clever system in place where how you build determines how your proc sets work strength-wise. I'm happy about that. That's pretty fucking cool. Obviously, I would imagine that some of the stats on the sets will be altered over time during the PTS cycle, because some of them will be maybe too strong, maybe too weak, whatever. But it's pretty fucking cool. We're almost there, people. Made some minor improvements on the Battleground queue matching, preventing some cases where the queue could get stuck with small number of players. Art and animation we're not going to go over as such, because, let's face it, that could be one person or 100. You can read all these in your own time. Crafting and economy, we will go over that actually. When you attempt to learn a crafting motif that you already know, an error message will now refer to it properly rather than racial style or property. I can't even read. Fix the typo in the description of Dremora. Outfit style tooltips. Standardize the application costs of Honor Guard outfit styles. It's a very elegant solution and opens up so many more possibilities. Yes! Like I keep trying to teach people, the game is built on the foundation of choice. The developers want you to decide how you want to play. They don't want you to sit there and be pigeonholed into one way or no way, because let's face it, it's not fucking Warcraft. Is there anything wrong with Warcraft? No, it's a game. Play it if you like it. But this game is deliberately designed to stand out, and it's exactly what it does. And every single time someone goes, you must all use this, otherwise fuck off. Well, nope, they're going to change it because that doesn't line up to how they want things to work. Choice is what they want to see people take advantage of, basically. Justice Festival, general stuff. Celebrations I'm not going to go into because that's stuff you can test in your own time. Exploration, itemization. So we've got some fixed stuff here with typos. Achievements, world bosses, housing. We can't see any of this stuff, but there are fixes here as well. Miscellaneous. Cross-alliance groups kicked out of Acudia and Cyrodiil will no longer get stuck in a queue state. Fix an issue where disabling a group with offline members could result in you not being able to create new groups. Fix an issue where unable to gift items to players that after the 30-day gifting period has expired. It's getting difficult to say words now. I've been saying words for quite some time. Fix an issue where mouse input was not accepted until keyboard was used when first launching the game in Stadia. Kuso, you had a bug and didn't tell us. He loves his fucking Stadia. You still haven't made Craglorn OP again? Nope, not going to go over these. Add-ons. Removed load out-of-date add-ons checkbox in order to fix an issue where it unchecks itself every new update. Now, if you have out-of-date add-ons, a new update comes out, you'll simply receive a notification. Fair enough. I think we're done. We're actually done. I mean, these, again, you can go over in your own time because it may or may not apply to you. The overall stuff that affects everybody, we're pretty much done it. How fucking cool is that? Does Stadia have its own server? No, it does not. It's the same as a PC server. Right. I'm not hanging around for long because it's been a very fucking busy day. I did have to start streaming earlier. We're almost cracking 3 hours of patch note reading already. But relax. Don't go too nuts because I've got to keep up with it. Now you get the opportunity to try and kind of ask some stuff. Because trying to keep up with loads of questions or the odd occasional smart ass in the chat is quite tricky while I'm reading stuff. But we're going to go a few minutes with you asking whatever the fuck you want, basically, as long as I can answer it. Must admit, I'm impressed. Looks good. It does. Is Yogi coming out in early access? Yes, it is, but you'll have to wait for that to happen. Which of the new sets looks most interesting to you? To me, the Warhorn set is quite nice. Basically, no Warhorn. Use any ultimate you want. But I already did see that. And also the one that increases your damage if you do melee or if you do ranged direct. Because I did try that on the preview server and it did double stack, which is quite nuts. But they are monitoring that one because it looks like it's OP as fuck. In testing, it wasn't too bad. But I think there's ways to make that stupidly powerful. You did it? I know. Now that you're done, I want to say thank you for the lich. Been running it. It's awesome. You're most welcome, dude. And thank you very much. Good stuff. See you in Discord chats. Have a nice night. You will, but I'm also going to be recording in a little while as well. And it won't be the PTS stuff. It's some other stuff that I can't tell you about. Keep it on YouTube. You'll see a video soon. Also, for those of you that are worried about the builds, obviously I had to update every single fucking build because every single build in the world got affected by champion point changes in the last update. I've been working my ass off to the point where I did almost 400 hours a month. Ran out of time. But I did manage to get Yogi recorded before the PTS server changed. PTS server, the public test server. You know what I mean. So that is still coming. Everything else will be updated on the website for gear, traits, rotation, setup. The whole lot will be on there. So if you keep an eye on the website over the next week or so, everything that didn't get done in the video will be there. So don't worry. Anyone that was missing anything in particular, you'll all get it done at once. There's not going to be any waiting for that apart from this particular week. What was the name of the set that you said hopefully they never nerf it? Ah, now you're asking. I can't remember what the fuck it was called. There was the mythic item. This one for the Warden's quite nice. Obviously, I mean, some sets are like, oh, that would be good on the Warden. Why? Because it does ice. That was obvious, wasn't it? But it is. That would be fucking cool. This one, that's not the one I'm looking at. Where the fuck did it go? Bog Raid was pretty cool. That one was meh. This one. Heartland Conqueror. The one that messes with your infused. Stack it with Turok's Pact. There'll be videos all over fucking YouTube tomorrow. You watch. New Turok's Pact videos. Clickbait as fuck. There'll be millions of them. Everyone thinking the same idea. But we're all thinking the same fucking thing. How many companions is max? There are 2 currently. And do they block crafting stations? They are interactable just like a merchant is. So if they are standing in the way, they will be in the way, yes. The armor mythic helmet. The helmet looks fucking bonkers. That's a very powerful mythic item in comparison to anything else apart from the Ring of the Pale Order and Thracians. Maybe Bloodlord's Embrace as well. Some of them are a bit... There's one of them that's really shit on the surface. I mean, granted, it's on paper, and I always test stuff because lots of things will surprise you in this game. Some things look really crap on paper. Someone throws it in a fucking spreadsheet and it just has done with it. But if you actually test it out, you might be surprised. So I always test them anyway, but at first glance, one of them looks a bit shit. The one that gives you 1.5k magicka and stamina. But we'll see. Rip crafting stations? No, just put them away. You can unsummon them. Can we interact with other players' companions? I don't think so. I'm going to call Rich on this one and say it's player testable, but I have not tried to interact with anyone else's. I can say they didn't get in the way in combat, but I can't say that I've walked up to one and tried to talk to them. I don't think you can, because it's your companion. It's to do with you. You're the one doing the story. But again, test it and find out. Was it 25% healing done increase on a Templar set? Rune healing, or is it an all healing done? Dude, it's all healing done while you're in the rune. The new changes, how the proc sets, will it mean lower CP people have less damage? Lower CP people will get to the peak of champion points much sooner because they already altered them by squashing some of the passives. I'm going to start housing so I can get crafting stations up. Fair enough. You can put your... if you've done certain quests and bonuses and all that kind of stuff, you can eventually put your companions in your house, but they work as house guests. You can't summon them in the house. Bastion non-combat perk is shite compared to Miri's. Bastion's very... He has feelings. Miri doesn't give a fuck. If you were to take a companion to somewhere like Cloud Rest or Asylum Sanctorum, do mechanics affect them like bar swapping on Chitin? Well, when it comes to complex mechanics, they are not going to be able to manage all the stuff you want them to do. They can't bar swap because they only have one bar. And when it comes to Chitin and stuff, they generally don't run away. They just run into stuff. So they're not going to be as intelligent as a player ever. But they can do damage, they can heal, and they can taunt and all that good stuff as well. They play the part of someone else being there. Is there a cap on weapon and spell damage? A cap? The cap is really how far can you go with your skills, gear, and traits and bonuses and glyphs and all that kind of stuff. There will be a way to reach maximum, which you could do, but it's not strictly a cap that you can't acquire. So it's not like 7k you can't go any higher, or 8k you can't go any higher. It's about how you build. So you can build for a certain amount, which will be top overall, but that's not going to be the same for every single class and race. Companions riding bears will block everything. They can ride your mounts, yes they can. Read that one already. Companion ride, I've read that one as well. No one wants improved potions when they get bonus items from chests though. Well, it's a case of extra potions. You can see the word improved is you've got one of his special ones rather than the one that you looted yourself. They do count as two different categories as well, or two different items. But it's more a case of if you want to loot potions, if you're going to use them, if you like using trash pots, or even if you want to sell them, that is extra loot for you. I don't see companions helping much in trials. We've used them in trials in the preview. They were actually pretty good, surprisingly. But when it comes to complex mechanics, you are going to struggle because they're not designed for that. They can just turn up and do stuff. Better than some pug DPS, sadly. You are not wrong. So there's no potential cap to how much damage these proc sets can do. Again, there isn't a line that says you can't go past this. But how high you can push your character to, that's where your limit is. So you need to decide how you want to build. Do other people's companions have the same face as your companions? Yes. I would like to see some PTS tests of these companion passes. You can't. You can't use them in your house. They can be used as house guests if you unlock everything, but you cannot use them as a summoned companion in your house or up against a dummy or anything like that. That is done on purpose. I think I caught up, actually. Should we give away a purple chicken? He wants a purple chicken. Commands. Not commands. Giveaway. We'll put... This is going to have to be all one word. It's just going to look a bit weird. We've got a 3-minute giveaway. With purple chicken. They're on every single server. You need to put proc OP. All one word. Go. You got 3 minutes. High Cogger is interesting because it makes a decisive trait proc 100% of the time now.
I love winning.
Well, yeah, it's got all different manner of bonuses and shit you can use for it. Also, it can buff your charged and all that kind of shit too.
Winning. I love winning.
So status effects are up more, which means infinite sustain for fucking stam or mag decay. It can buff any trait, which means also precise. Ah, or sharpened, or no-honed. See, we could be here all day. Well, we won't because we'll run out of traits, but you get the idea. So, their approach to this, for people that think, oh, you don't know what you're doing, fucking mind-blowing. Very, very clever. Someone spelt it wrong. How do you spell it wrong? Tell your phone off. Phones can't do spells. Or can they? But yeah, I'm liking it so far. I mean, obviously, we've got to test it. And changes will inevitably happen. Over the next few weeks, it's going to change probably quite a lot. But this is the base that we've got to go with at the moment. So have fucking fun with it. If you've got access to PC and you have VSO Plus, you can get onto the PTS server. It's called PTS, not PTS server. Public Test Server. It's really hard to not do that. Same as Pug Group. Pick up group. Don't do that. Anyway, go to your launcher and there's a cog that you can click. If you bring down the drop-down menu, you can actually reinstall a new version of the game, which is actually the PTS. If you do it twice, does it remove my entry? Yes, it does. Don't listen to all the fucking stress, because there will be some. There will be people that have no idea whatsoever making noise on social media complaining about the game or complaining about how this isn't a good idea because they're fucking specialists. Go on the server, test it, see if you like it. The game is about choice. The game is not about complaining every 5 seconds when something might change. And let's face it, the people that cause that fucking hate train in the first place never take responsibility for their actions once the server does go live, because eventually everything ends up fine. Excluding a couple bugs. Bugs happen. Do it 5 times, it will do it thrice and remove you twice. Dear oh dear. Tears will be coming. Tough shit. Have to fucking get over it. Go test it and have fun. It's just one of those things. We have access to a server to try this out. ZOS doesn't have to give us a test server. They could just test it all internally instead and say, fuck you can't be responsible with this power. Bollocks to you. But instead, they allow us to try this stuff. They allow us to see what it is they're doing to open up the game more over time. They're showing us the longevity or plans or whatever it is that you want to call it for the future. It's fucking good that we get to do it. Isn't this how it goes every patch? Everything will turn out in the end. Yeah, every single time. I've been doing this for almost, what, 4.5, 5 years? 4.5 years almost. Every single update, you see the same shit. If in doubt, try it out. Be cool if they had PTS for consoles. That would never work out because you have to go through certification through Microsoft and Sony every time you want to upload something, which means if they wanted to change something every week, they couldn't, and it would cost too much money and be fucking way too fucked resourceful and logistically to even do so. The idea is to see it on a larger scale, then fix it up for consoles later. This has already been tested on consoles internally, obviously, because they know what they're doing with their own game and they have to do that, but overall, PC testing is easy because there's no brick walls to upload stuff. Other games don't do that. No, they don't. Some games don't get you access to any servers. Are we finished? Purple Chicken. Let's go. Pick a winner. Sparrow Blossom. Oh, yes. Congratulations, you have the Purple Chicken. Now, for anyone else that gets Purple Chickens, just in case you're confused, in the future, you need to go into the game, go to Crown Store, go to Redeem. There's a Redeem button. It's a very unique universal code where you can use it on every server. So you just put it in once, and for whichever platform that is, you have it for both servers. So Sparrow, if you're on PC, you got it for both servers now. If you also have a PlayStation or an Xbox attached to that account, you have it on that server as well. I'll send you a whisper after the stream and get that sent over to you right away. Beer and cake in the chat for the winner, and of course, thank you all very much for watching. So, PTS streams are quite stressful because I have to absorb a fuck ton of information, plus also adapt versus what I already know, and explain it to everyone, and take on loads of questions, and deal with some of this stuff as well, because it happens. But I appreciate the patience for everyone watching. Thank you very much. Thank you for the follows as well, because we have just hit 22,000, which is fucking mega. And I'm now going to do a host, obviously. We will look for someone who is going to be shocked. How about that? I'm sure everyone's reading the PTS notes anyway. I will look for someone who is starting out quite early as a streamer, trying to get into ESO, so we can give him a bit of a push. Because I started with fuck all, and so does everybody else. So we'll give him a bit of a boost. On that note, thank you very much for watching. I hugely appreciate support. If you are not subscribing on YouTube or following on Twitch, please do hit those buttons. They are free. Furthermore, if you want to help support outside the channel, there are some links in the info section for Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, the website xynodegaming.com, where all the written guides are. There will be more videos this week. I can't give you spoilers on those, but Yogi, of course, did get recorded, so that's going to go up on early access. Keep your eyes peeled on the channel. Make sure you've hit the notification bell and stay for the host. See you later. Bye-bye.
That the brothers on the rise now. Endless celebrations all in my house. Levitating now, I'm super duper fly now. London boy, but DC where I reside now. Put the time in while you always yelling time out. And for quit it, cause I know I'm coming with it. You were sitting, you were wishing I was handling my business. Now I got the ball like Harry Potter playing Quidditch. And my business is humongous, you would think that happens in there. Damn man, I'm all that, yeah I'm all that. Looking for that whip, yeah that what you call that. I'ma blow up in the summer, have him yelling fall back. And I've always been ahead like an effing ball cap. Man, I came in the game like whoa. Got a couple chains on me cause I like gold. They told me I'm the best and I told them I know. Cause when I'm in your town, every ticket I sold. Yeah, they saying I'm the man. Facts bro, lot of haters, tell me where they at though. I'm the new pop, all I do is rap though. Want me on your song, throw a couple stacks, yo. Woo! Everybody wanna do the same thing. That's why we ain't on the same page. Do my own thing and I maintain. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream.